All
right. I will share him the link, or you can probably. Can you add anyone?
No, but I can get the Discord. His Discord. Have him.
Okay, yeah. Pop his Discord up there, and then I will send it to him and invite. But yeah, welcome, welcome. Oh, yeah. We'll talk about different games today. We'll talk about
Yep.
the whole safety uh, Twitch thing.
We're not live yet, are we?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, we are live.
Yeah, this is we're live for like a minute now. So how's everyone doing? Do, do, do. Yeah. Is he in here yet?
Here, take us down for a second. Let's get him in here, and we'll talk, and then we'll put us back up.
Well, if I end it, it'll end the whole string. We're fine. We just talk until he gets here, and then we'll bring him in. So let me know when he's on the Discord. Anyways, but yeah, we're gonna talk about the Twitch thing that happened recently. We're gonna talk about
All right.
yeah.
His profile is simply Will. Oh wait, I better not say that out loud.
Oh, it's Discord. Just put like copy paste it or something inside the chat Discord,
No.
and I'll just click on it. But yeah, we'll talk about the Twitch thing. We'll talk about games. We'll talk about a couple things that are happening in the TV world. Um,
All right, Arthur.
um,
All right.
a second. Hold on a second.
All right. I added him. You add him.
I'm trying to. Give me a second. I'm not even sure how to add.
You want me to tell you? Go up to friends,
Okay.
and then after you
Add
click on
friend.
add friend, and then you just type in that information.
So it's just at will or
Friends, add friend. Enter his name and then his number.
okay. Okay. I had to write that down. Give me a second.
You can copy and paste it.
Can I?
Yeah. Just double click
Uh,
on the name, copy it, and double click on the number and copy that.
okay. Well, that makes it a whole lot easier.
That's what I did. I just copy and pasted.
It's failed.
Huh?
It failed.
It failed.
It said friend request failed.
Um.
Wait
Okay.
a minute.
Well,
I
here.
see what it is. I know what happened.
Okay.
There it is. Okay, I did it.
All right.
Let's see. Where are you? Williams. There he is. Do, 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 do. All right. There we go. That's better. He should be joining here in a second. So we can introduce ourselves. I am Mirsphere. Well, technically we're all Mirsphere, but I'm the main creator, Daniel, my brother and editor and co-creator, Nathan.
Yep.
Or Papa Dink, I guess he likes to call himself. And
That doesn't
then
matter. Nate, Papa Dink, Buddy Nate, I don't care. Whatever. You don't have to share that yet. Just sharing it.
I thought, first thing I thought it was him. I was like, why is it coming under Papa Dink?
I just shared my screen to get it ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you're going to really like the Twitch thing because I know you're on Twitch, so that'll be fun.
I mean, Twitch is better. I would say Twitch is probably easier and better to use.
There he is.
How's it going?
What's
Hey,
up,
man.
sir?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Looks like you're playing some Pokemon.
Yes, I'm actually going to be starting up the process of finishing up the game today.
Nice.
Nice.
You got some pretty high levels there.
I have nothing but free time.
I hear you.
I gotta figure out how to do that on the Switch.
Best way to go through level-wise, I would recommend just going through max raids and just farm that. You don't have to capture them if you don't need to. And the team I got, I caught the Honedge through weather manipulation. Same thing with the Lucario.
Yeah, Lucario's he's really good on that game.
Indeed.
Yeah, I beat it several times and I kept getting bored, so I just restart the whole thing. And
I've played through each version 3 times, and this is my last time. I think I'm going through Sword, as Tasha's son asked me to go through it for him, as a way to show him, these are a way that you can go through it.
Cool. Yeah.
How's Tasha and all them doing?
Tasha's doing good. She's in the process of heading back to schooling for college. Amber is doing good. She's still working on her medical degree. I'm not sure what Christopher's up to in the grand scheme of things, but he's working on his business.
Sounds like Michael. That's nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you didn't know, me and Nathan are working on a book line. That's why it's called Mirsphere.
I've seen posts here and there, so I have heard you talk about it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, we're gonna write a book series, and then we're gonna hopefully expand it to comics and all kinds of other stuff. But we'll see. See what happens.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, mainly what we do is hang out. Daniel, is that you?
What?
My feedback.
Oh, okay. Anyway, what we'll probably do is we like to do different videos and share different things coming out.
Yeah, we're going to like Cyberpunk 2077. We'll talk about a little bit. We can just talk about what we're doing. We're talking about some stuff that's going on Twitch. We're going to talk about some TV, because we cover on this channel. We cover a lot of pop culture stuff. So like TV shows, movies, games reviews, books, stuff like that. So
understandable. Well, where would you like to begin?
Well,
you guys want me to show the official walkthrough or the gameplay review of Cyberpunk?
Yeah, we can do that.
They finally released gameplay?
Yep.
Oh, they released all kinds of stuff for Cyberpunk.
It's a pretty big game review thing. It's 48 minutes, but it's of their official walkthrough. So what I like to do is share it, and I have audio and everything playing, so you guys can listen to it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Or we'll talk about it during, and I can pause it at different times if you guys want and stuff like that. You guys hear it okay?
Gameplay demo walks
Oh, yeah.
Secret
Yeah.
Project Red's upcoming title, Cyberpunk 2077. A narrative-driven, open-world RPG set in a dark version of the future. Before we start, a small but important disclaimer. The gameplay you're about to see is from a work-in-progress version of the game. Everything you see is potentially subject to change. In Cyberpunk 2077, you can fully customize your character using a deep customization system. For this demo, we're going to play a female. Keep in mind that what you see here is not final. We just want to give you a glimpse of what will be possible in the released game. This is an RPG, so before we get into our appearance, we need to define our backstory. What you choose here will unlock different possibilities later in the game. Also, you can use an array of different options to modify how you look. These include body type, hairstyle, tattoos, makeup, skin tone, and many, many more. But visuals aren't everything. You'll also be able to customize your initial attribute setup. You'll notice we didn't pick a class. Cyberpunk 2077 features a fluid class system, and you'll be able to modify your class throughout the game. This demo takes place near the beginning of the game. V and her friend Jackie, along with a netrunner named Tiba, are hired to find and retrieve a missing person, a girl whose locator implant went dark.
It's clear. Go.
Yeah, I totally missed that the first time about the class system.
Yeah,
It's totally
Pretty cool.
fluid.
I think it'll be
Cyberpunk
interesting.
2077 is a first-person role-playing game. This perspective enables us to maximize your immersion.
Should have full access in 2.8 seconds. Reached it. Your turn.
Oh, we pause it for a second.
The way I know.
That was interesting.
What?
If you go back just a little bit to where she's like reloading, like here, pause it.
Your immersion.
Should have full access.
Look how much detail this gun has. Look at that right there. There's your round. You can literally see the round in the chamber. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That makes me happy.
Reached it. Your turn.
Órale, the way I know.
Alarm neutralized.
Although for a pistol, it has a lot of bullets.
Yeah.
Is that her?
Depends on the type of pistol, and it could be modified.
Not our girl, I think.
Mm.
Keep looking.
It looks like these scavengers are kidnapping people to harvest their implants. Okay, things are about to get heated. We'll take a reflex booster that temporarily allows us to use the Koreznikov ability.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
This is Koreznikov.
Okay,
That's
so
pretty cool.
here, pause it for a second. So it just explained. I didn't notice this the first time I watched this. Is she took that inhaler, which lets her activate that ability. So that not only do
Right.
you use your abilities in this game, you have to have certain items to
Activate.
activate. Yeah, that's actually interesting. I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah, it should be fun.
He's moving! Cover! Find cover! Blast the wall! We'll get him!
Can't see shit!
Oh, he's a fucking gunner!
Got none to fucking you!
The option's here!
Room he's in looks out on the balcony. Got a window on the left. Go!
Get his attention! West. Terminado! this anymore. Pussy.
Layout shows only one room left, the bathroom. Go.
Sure hope our target's in there. Cabrones.
Think I got her. Got our target.
We make it? She alive?
This does not look good.
No, in a minute. Jacking into Biomon. Sandra Dorset, NC 570442. Got a winner. Well, she will be if we can get her to a hospital. Sheesh. Trauma Team Platinum, too.
Platinum. Shit, TT should have swooped in if she sneezed.
Something's jamming the Biomon signal. Talk to me, T-Bug.
Virus, probably. Locate her neurosocket. Should be a shard slotted in. Shit's probably on that. If we clear it, free up the signal, TT could actually drop in, take her off our hands.
Got the shard. Removing it now. Done.
Greetings,
Check her
Sandra.
Biomon again.
An emergency evacuation unit has been dispatched and is due to arrive at your location in 180 seconds.
Biomon claims trauma will be here in 3 minutes.
Like a fucking cavalry. Let's get her out of here.
Your premium plan will cover 90% of the projected costs of your rest.
Mierda, she's flatlining!
V, you need to know what's going on.
Jackie, air hypo.
Can't, China!
She's stable.
Fuera, Jaina. Get her outside. I'll cover you.
It turns out a virus disrupted the girl's locator implant. We fixed that, and now help is inbound.
Swarm of the sons of bitches, 2 vans full, just pulled up outside.
Fuera, get her out. Terrorist!
A little loud. That was a little loud.
Want me to turn it down a little?
Yeah, that was a little too loud. Alright, fine.
5 steps back. Now!
So nice.
I said step back. TT-133 to control. Patient NC570442 secured. Stimulants being administered, 70 milligrams dopamine, 110 norepinephrine, 800 Viagra.
So we just saved the woman.
Pistol
Jesus.
out of here.
Well, a little thanks would be nice.
Bravo.
Alright.
Cutting
I mean,
connection.
technically, if you're not a part of the law enforcement, it doesn't really matter. You are doing a civil service.
Clear.
That was
Just
Trauma
you and me
Team,
blow.
a kind of high-end premium medical
Don't
insurance.
have much time for what Bug said.
We've delivered the target, and T-Bug has notified us that the scavengers have called in reinforcements. Let's get out of here before they arrive.
I got the eddies for new wheels now. Eyeing something real fine, too. How about you, Jaina? Probably blow it all on booze in 3 days.
Talking about somebody else, Jack. You cleaner than a cunt out of combat.
Yeah. I can't wait to get into this game. Jeez. No one wants to see man butt. Night City, North Carolina.
Cyberpunk is a mature, visceral experience, and as such, it will let you explore a variety of different interactions with the game world. And as you just saw, its people.
Hello, Night City. Your man Sandy here with the scoop sheet on all last night's bids. But first, remember the man, the myth, Johnny Silverhand. Been a year since he went on his last ride.
Johnny
And
Silverhand.
the afterlife nurse and that scotch waiting for something better. You know what I mean.
The job was a success, and V obviously has some money to burn.
Hey, sup, V? Look, I need to talk to you. That news as big as my balls.
And I got a hot date with my Ripper Doc.
Come on, Jaina. Make the doc wait. Pull some pants on your culo and get down here. Subway entrance. Bring your iron.
Okay, Jackie has just told us that he has some big news for us, and we have an appointment with our Ripper Doc today. Before we leave, let's take a good look around our apartment. Good morning, Night City. The song on the radio is by rocker boy Johnny Silverhand. It's part of our creative process to draw inspiration from the pen and paper system created by Mike Pondsmith, and to put our own 2077 spin on it.
Oh yeah.
Let's go grab our gear. Okay, we'll take these trusty pistols. And also grab our jacket. Since Cyberpunk 2077 is an RPG, the jacket not only provides us with protective stats like armor, but it also increases our street cred. Street cred is a form of experience the player acquires by completing side missions. It is used to unlock new vendors and content throughout Night City. All right, let's go meet Jack. V's current apartment is located inside a mega building, a huge building complex that forms a micro-society of its own. In this timeline, technology and the world have evolved in some ways that seem familiar, but entirely surprising in others. As an example, in this world, people pay with eddies, slang for Euro dollars. We make sure to root every detail in the world's lore, so everything has its purpose and stays believable.
I like how immersive they really are in this game. I'll say this company is
RPG experience.
Red Letter Media is really good.
Is interactive. Here, a generic ad has morphed into an advertisement specifically tailored to V, informing her of the nearest vendor she can purchase the product. In this case, it shows us where to find some Nicola soda.
Boxing a robot.
That's probably gonna be a thing at some point. Advertisements that show you where things are.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Keep beeping. Is that you beeping?
This is Wilson,
Me?
one of Night City's
Yeah,
Yeah,
main
probably was saying. Keep getting a beeping noise.
is where
There it goes again.
Wasn't me. You?
I don't know. Might be Discord. I don't know. I haven't seen anything pop up though. Anyways, but yeah.
you can purchase and upgrade your weapons and gear throughout the city.
It's not me.
2077 is set in Night City,
Hmm.
a bustling metropolis located on the coast of the free state of North California. It's a dystopian city where violence and oppression are the norm. We are working hard to make Night City a fully realized, seamless open world with no loading screens. Currently, we're in Watson, a former industrial.
I'm not getting
district
any notifications
where
of
crime
anything,
now
so
mixes with money.
It's weird. Unless there's comments coming up, I can't see.
Shit. Now give me back my eddies.
Could be some truth to that.
We've greatly enhanced our crowd and community system to create the most believable city in any open world game to date. The city's streets are bustling with crowds of people from all facets of life, all living their lives within a full day and night cycle.
It's all in different languages. I can't tell what they're saying. All the people are saying.
Okay, there's Jack.
Fucking finally. Buckle up. Shit's happening.
What's up, Jack?
Dexter Deshawn. Huh? Sound familiar? Ray wants to talk to you. One of Night City's top fixers. Okay, you see that caddy?
I like how a lot of the talking isn't just words. They're actually
Yeah.
talking.
And they get choices. I like like the ability to choose different conversations.
Yeah.
It turns out we've caught the attention of one of Night City's biggest players, Dexter Deshawn. A
Makes it
fixer,
fun to play over
a
again.
person who gets
Mhm.
things done. He wants to meet up and discuss a job.
Get it.
Let's see what he has for us.
I'd be like, I don't wanna.
I'm like, can I kill this guy just for fun? Just see what would happen in the game if I did that.
Landing a serious job just now. Playing gargantuan compared to smashing up a scared home. You interested?
I definitely gotta figure out how to get my thing working on my PlayStation for this. This game comes out.
Glad to hear.
Oh, to share it? You mean?
Yeah.
I need to be sure.
So
You
I
need a
think-
capture card?
I have no idea.
All right. And the nature of this test.
Slaughter Michelle. See, got a classic tale for you. Psycho gang, just doing his thing, jumped a corp convoy, got away with gear. Now I need that little combat bar. They call it the Flathead. Of course, I got the Eddies to buy it, but me and the Maelstrom boys ain't the best of friends. No flow to our convo, see.
Who's the woman?
Corporal agent. She's on the hunt for the dogs who sold the Gangoons info on the convoy. Got herself a prisoner. Her chief suspect, most likely. Going on 20 hours since the convoy was jumped, and she still don't have no good body. Gotta be desperate by now. Be wise to think how you could use that. Got any questions for me?
Clear on it all, I think. Time I got you good.
Beautiful. Here's hoping my inkling checks out.
So, see you at the afterlife soon as the job's done.
Do good, and this will be the start of a beautiful friendship based on heaps of it.
It seems Dexter has given us a test of sorts to see if we're worthy. He wants us to retrieve a piece of high-tech combat gear a local gang stole from the Militech Megacorp. We'll be able to approach this job from a variety of angles. Let's try calling the Militech contact to see where that leads.
Out here.
Hi. Heard you were looking for some tech. Let's talk.
Hey, everybody shut it! Wear it. Come on, spell.
On the horn? No.
Amateur hour. Jesus. First exit off Skyline going towards the NIT. Storm Channel under the overpass. Meet you there.
The situation's tricky because the contract giver is a corporate agent who seems a little high-strung. Before we get down to business, it's a great idea to visit our Ripperdome.
Yeah, you. See this camera? Yeah, got a real whack tape, change your fucking life.
Crime is a common occurrence. Night City is not a safe place. Life here is not easy.
Got some real juicy soup.
Your heart chakra looks a little out of whack, babe.
V!
I can relate.
Gonna play out with Dex.
It's all here.
All right. I'll check it out while I wait for you.
Please. Dr. Vector, we'll see you now.
Kind of interesting. They can download a, like what they.
We're at a Ripperdome.
Right into their head.
Ripperdome are specialist vendors who offer people the possibility.
Definitely like Ghost in the Shell kind of world.
I was thinking this exact same thing.
Vicky, spry as ever.
It just kind of makes you wonder how far will it be between Cyber and Punk, you know?
Yeah.
Bump up my specs and
Right.
rip.
Are we like just cybers?
No.
I
Might as well
know.
be at that point.
Here, pause it for a second.
Alright.
I know in either I think it's a tabletop version of this game or the thing. The more robotics you put in your body, the less you have a humanity point score, and the more robotics you put in, the less humanity you have until you're like pure robot. And I wonder if this game will have something like that. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. That'd be interesting. Like if you replace both your eyes, all your arms and legs and everything else, and all of a sudden all your organs are robotic, and all of a sudden they're like, you're a robot. Like they treat you differently. Like you get treated worse.
I mean, if you forfeit your humanity, you forfeit your rights therein.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like that. I know that.
That'd be interesting to see, because then you would be like, in certain decisions, you may want to like rethink those decisions a little bit, like as far
Maybe
as
different ways you can
putting
play it
different
too.
things and stuff. So, it's
Like,
kind of cool.
I know there's ways to they call it what do they call it, net surfing, where you're like a hacker, and then you can get like stuff like wherever you see you can hack from sight, so you can make like guns shoot at themselves, and you can hack one dude to shoot another dude if his whole brain is like robotic. So you could do like sneaky, like there's stealth ways you could play this game. There's gonna be like full on just walk in and just gun everybody down. I did see one where like both your arms get replaced with these special, super strong robot arms, and you could like rip Gatling guns from freaking the walls and shoot people with like their own machine guns and stuff. Yeah, tell you if you want to.
It'd be fun.
Weeks. Got a job from Dex Deshawn.
The Dexter Deshawn? Yeah, that is something. But let me guess. Hasn't paid you yet.
Quit crying, Vic. I'll bring you the Eddies later, with interest. You know I will.
Last time, I swear. Now sit. That's Karoshi. Best I've got. It should be about right under the circumstances. Now, jack in. You peruse and choose while I scan. See what's going on inside.
We're going to install both an optical scanner.
Mark 1, like I said. Decent enough scanner. Displays data on your cornea.
And a subdermal.
Where does it show like how many credits you actually have?
And to be perfectly honest, not entirely where the hell I got it.
I don't know.
Still, to Karoshi.
If anything, it's probably under either an options or what's the word? It could actually just be hidden somewhere in the HUD layout, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
True. Could be.
Or you have to like check it. Since it's so immersive, I bet you have to check like something.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have like an interface you can like get into it. It'll show you. So
Thanks. Now a bit of anesthetic, and I can start cutting.
Jesus.
Feel anything?
That's a massive anesthetic. That's all I gotta say.
Doc. Play by play. Makes you sound like a dentist. You're always going on and on.
Don't be mean now. Remember, I'm old. I got a shaky Gannic hand. Could slip. Lights out for a minute, all right?
Great.
That's what I want to see.
Because he's like tearing out your eyeball and he's going to replace it with a machine eyeball. Ah! Oh.
Sounds like fun.
Absolutely charming.
No vision, no contrast, glitches.
You're seeing of your own eyeball. Like, isn't that weird? And he's like, hey, can you see? Are you there? Yeah, I'm here.
I mean, it's definitely something that could be useful.
Oh, yeah.
Pop your own eye out and throw it.
We can zoom in on things and take it.
It'd be nice to be able to zoom into things though, like
This is
fantastic. Beautiful. Time for the scanner.
Additionally, we can analyze objects, Get details on enemy weak points or gang affiliation.
It might take you a while to adjust. This time's really charm or anything, really.
What's that thing doing to your arm?
Your thought process.
Augmenting it.
Intentions.
Since you're under such heavy anesthetic, it's very possible that it's
Now draw your weapon.
Whoa!
literally grafting to your body.
Lose sight.
The subdermal weapon grip links to our scanner and shows us weapon information like ammo count and fire modes. It also increases
cool.
the base damage on all connected weapons.
Shit, Victor. Not bad. I don't know what to say.
Say you'll take this and remember the dosage. 2 whiffs now, and another 2 in an hour.
Thanks again. You're the best, Vic.
Go on,
And I
kid.
can only assume that the inhalant helps from preventing the body to reject the augmentations.
I'm guessing
Something
so.
like that.
Yeah.
Probably some kind of medical thing to help keep the body from like panicking.
While some Ripper
That would
dogs
make sense.
are legal, others provide black market services for the right price. They can even
Certain
offer
patients that have pacemakers need stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
If my memory serves me correctly.
Left a few minutes ago. Said he'd wait outside.
Well, well, Kiroshi. Mm-hmm. Old Vic's got a soft spot for you, Heina. Come on, why don't you use them fancy ass options to grab my new wheels?
Sure, but you'll have to let me take it for a spin.
Hey, just watch the paint job.
Did you just hear that moaning in the background?
It is an adult game.
Yes,
So-
it is.
This is very an adult game. This is not for kids. There's everything in this game.
Clearly.
This guy looks an awful lot like one of those scavengers we took out earlier.
Excuse me. Yeah, I got some stuff down the wrong pipe. Ugh.
Tells me that wasn't no coincidence. Huh?
Nice car, though.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
Jackie's car is a super-powered sports car running on Chew-2, the super fuel of the future. Players can explore Night City freely, in many different cars, on bikes, and in other types of vehicles.
I wonder what other types are talking about. I wonder if there's like flying cars in this. That'd be interesting.
If we can't get a flying DeLorean, I will be so disappointed.
Grab the wheel, Jack!
Oh, fuck!
It looks like the scavengers from earlier are still angry.
They're pulling ahead, Heina. Watch it now. Got it. All right.
I'm not saying watch the paint job. I don't think that's watching the paint job.
That was intense.
I mean, in the
They-
future, you'd think that they wouldn't need too much
Night City never sleeps.
advanced technology.
Around
Yeah, true.
Be a quick touch-up.
random encounters like
The car's not even damaged.
No, it's not. Not really.
Scuffed mildly.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay, Jackie.
So, they're done riding our asses?
Scabs? Sure, maybe. Should be looking for a new spot to slice and dice, not gunning after us. But who knows? Real messed up pendejo, Scabs. Saw it yourself.
Many forces are fighting for control of Night City, but the mega corporations are the real showroom. The agent we're going to meet represents Militech, one of the largest companies in the private military sector.
Why we stopping?
They keep talking private military and such, but and just the fact that it's very chaotic, very kind of has a very tight grip over people. My question is this: do they have something allegorical to say, like judges? You know, for those that have read or watched Judge
Since
Dredd.
Cyberpunk 2077 is
Yeah, like,
Oh, right, oh.
like a government
preparation
system.
will be key
Um,
with
like
power.
judge, jury, executioners that function as the adjudicators of the law.
Right.
I don't know. I need to delve a lot more into the cyberpunk world and actually like learn all the lore and stuff of it.
It would just seem like if you have all these private sectors and then you have the fact that there are gangs, scavengers, everything else and such, you know, something akin to like say public security or
Well, we saw earlier with the medical team and how they carry guns and weapons. So there's got to be some type of government system that works against.
And those
the
are
law.
insurance. I think what it is here, pause it for a second. I think in this world, it's mostly the company, like businesses own mostly like big, you know, corporations. So it's not really government; it's like corporations that own like and like you
Different
work for,
sectors?
you're a slave to. Yeah, like they have different gangs and different corporations that are fighting for control of everything. So, so like that medical team was like an insurance company. So my guess is that lady was like probably filthy rich.
potentially.
Maybe.
But like
Maybe.
my question is, you know, law enforcement, where do they play a role in here? Do they play a role in here? And you know,
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
That'd
'cause
be
they-
interesting. That'd be
They
interesting.
did.
to find
They
out.
did show police officers, so
They
I'm
did.
wondering if they're like an actual government or they're like attached to an actual corporation.
Right.
So,
Or
it's
if a paramilitary corp works for like different corporations. Like,
Yeah.
It's true.
I don't know. That'll be interesting to find out.
You'd think that there would be at least some form of like public militia or something of the sort, but who knows?
Try to approach
Yeah.
them carefully.
yeah, I just said there's like this world is pretty in depth. It's not the first game, or you know, so I would like to get into the books and stuff.
Calm the hell down. What is this?
Got you now, asshole. You're insane. Who the fuck is this?
I'll know in 2 seconds flat. That fucking thing ready?
All set.
Are you here alone?
The Corpos have hacked us through our personal link and have subjected us to a kind of lie detector program. The dialogue system in Cyberpunk 2077 is fully gameplay driven.
I asked if you came alone.
Yep, just little old me.
She's lying.
Search the area. Now listen, folks, we don't need to be here all day. This piece of shit, Anthony Gilchrist, did he or another asshole at Militech leak info to you or anyone else about a convoy?
It might be tempting to reach for the gun, but the
Yep.
consequences could
Got
be
nothing to
dire.
do with him or
Remember,
Militech.
these guys are really tough.
Shit. Checks out. You got nothing on me. Nothing. Won't get away with this, you bitch. You are dead.
Somebody shut him up.
Take me home. Now.
All right. I have no idea who you're working for or what you even want, but you better give me something solid or I will end you.
I've got an offer.
Oh, you are stretching. This better be fucking good.
Gangoons who ripped you off? I know where to find them. They got a bot I want. Give me the funds to buy that bot. You can do what you want with the game.
I don't give a shit about the thieves. I want my mold. Cred chip, 50K. Just enough to buy you your bot. Thing is, Chip's gotta make it into the thieves' terminal. That's all I need. Think you can do that? Then we got a deal.
Fine. I'm in.
Try to fuck me in any way, and I'll be seeing you real soon.
You're making a mistake. This cunt's good as dead.
The agent gave us the money to buy the bot we need from the gang. By choosing to call the Militech agent earlier, we have now opened up a non-violent path through this quest. Of course, we could try and keep the money, but that would mean we'd have to take the merchandise by force, which requires a lot of firepower.
No heads, no signal, so I stay put.
Good thing, too. Went down about like I expected. Made a deal, And we're good to meet with Maelstrom now.
Mm-hmm.
Be there soon. What do you expect?
Corpse don't forgive or forget. Even these Borg fucks sense that. Feel the pressure. That's why they're holed up in this shithole, praying to the almighty Trip 6. Gotta move the tech, but they can't. Because your new best friend from the tripped out, tanked out SUV is just begging them to try. How you want to do this?
Even now, we can choose how to approach this quest. Do we go in guns blazing, or do we try to negotiate?
All right, plan's simple. We pay with the Corpo's cred and get out.
I don't know, but you're calling this one.
For this demo, let's try the
What,
more
don't trust my
diplomatic
charm?
approach.
Tough shit. All we need for them to buy it.
Don't know you.
Want to talk to Royce.
Main room. I'm waiting.
They get damn well prepared.
All strapped with Militech gear.
Psycho Borgs chromed out with military-grade hardware worth millions.
The guys we're about to meet are dangerous. They are members of the Maelstrom gang, and their obsession with body modification goes way beyond even this world's standards. On their path to becoming machines, they don't shy away from even the most extreme measures.
Anti-personnel mine. Shrapnel splitter. My favorite.
Gangoon's getting creative with their gear.
It looks like they made this abandoned All Foods meat factory their hideout. Charming.
Another one? Seriously?
Maybe we should have taken them by surprise.
A little late for regrets like that. Got us in their sights now. Just keep moving. Stay cool. You're just trying to spook us.
Remember, we've chosen to buy the tech, not steal it. Hopefully this will go fast and easy. This is a pretty well-guarded place. You can imagine what would have happened if we'd taken the violent path.
I mean, a lot of people dead. That's what would happen.
What?
That's a little
Looking to buy
weird.
a bomb. Model MTO D12. Looks like a spider.
Couch planted.
Dude's face looks like a spider.
Heavy augmentation. Just judging by how many lights, that's what? 7, 8 different optic nerves. So
7, yeah.
more eyes. Yeah.
I'll stand. Can't move on your culo. Makes you an easy target.
Sit down.
That really necessary, hombre?
I ain't your hombre. Sit. Sit your ass down before I plant a bullet in your skull.
Jack, sit down.
This ain't gonna end.
Well, all right. Fucking bravo. Come on, lighten up. Have a whiff. Better. Now we can talk.
The bot. Need to see it.
Suit yourself. Fucking tricked out, state-of-the-art this thing. Don't even got no standard port. Bells and whistles though, dynamic camo armor and motor impulses rivaling that of the human nervous system. Its actuators are actually pimped with titanium fiber, and it can go anywhere, literally. Watch this. Fully integrated link too, so when the spider starts crawling up walls, dangling from ceilings, you could lose your lunch. So, what you think?
Pay up and let's get the fuck out of here.
I would never have to leave my house for groceries again.
All right.
Yeah. send that thing, they'd be freaked out. They'd be like, just take it.
What the fuck's going on? And who the fuck is this?
Got 50 large on this crutch.
And you positively reek of Militech.
Dexter Deshawn.
Dexter Deshawn. Dreads. Gold plate. Fat old fuck. That him?
We'll pay for the bot. Be on our way.
How much you say you had? 50K?
Creds on this.
Move it.
Not the smoothest of deals, but it worked out in the end, right? Flathead's good gear. It'll do the trick. Whatever that trick is. Shit.
Shit, shit, shit!
It looks like you have to kill him anyway, so.
Oh, bullet time.
It turns
Reminds
out
me of
the Militech agent
Super Hot.
and the virus
Cut
which
off.
fried their system.
Virus must have tripped the security.
Royce, their leader, is making a break for it.
Militech. Had to end this way.
Before we figure out a way to leave,
I like that guy.
grab
I hate to shoot him.
one of these mail runners. The inspection system allows us to take a closer look at the splinter. You can inspect specific items to reveal details that can help in solving quests.
I mean, if anything, it seems like you could use the little bot to bomb squad your way through the shrapnel spitters.
That's what I would do.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's equip the splinter.
I'd just send it through it, then I'd be like walking in after it, like, all right.
Will now follow.
Here, pause it for a second.
All right.
He was talking about how you can investigate certain items. I wonder if it's gonna be a lot like Batman Arkham City. Like, have you ever played that game where like you pick up an item, you have to like spin around until it starts vibrating,
Yeah.
and then it'll unlock something.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's what it's like. It like scans it, and you have to like mess with it till it finally reveals whatever you're looking for. So that was it.
Could be.
So
Could be.
What else do we have here? Nice. A street-modified tech shotgun. Tech weapons fire rounds that penetrate walls and other types of cover. They also have an alternate fire mode that allows you to power up shots and deal more damage. It looks like there are several ways out of this room, like those gates, for example. However, you'd have to be a skilled netrunner to hack into this.
yeah, Netrunner, that's the hacker. That's what you call them, Netrunners.
Our engineering skills should allow us to disassemble that maintenance panel so we can get through the door.
Got it.
There are many skills in the game that players can apply in solving problems. The engineering skill can be used to fix, disassemble, and disarm devices blocking
Production
your
line
path.
passes through here.
And we're gonna pass through with it.
So,
Got
from
it.
this point on, we're going to unlock the abilities of a high-end character to showcase some of the different mechanics we have in the game.
I'll get him.
I like that.
The slide.
Yeah. The
One
slides
of the new
and slow
weapon
down.
modules we now
And
have
that's really cool.
ricochet
Okay, you can.
Ricochet rounds.
That's
Yeah.
This
that's
allows
creative.
you to bounce bullets off walls and hit enemies hiding behind cover.
Double jump.
Just
mean,
took
when
off
you're-
that dude's head.
When your body's cybernetic, you can do a lot.
And a grenade. That's a nice grenade.
This is another targeting system.
That's walls.
to reveal enemies behind walls. Paired with the penetrating rounds of our tech shotgun,
Look out his legs.
then all you'd really need to do is either interrogate or hack through systems, if that's possible.
Looks like we found some loot.
Oh, look, you can find the
This
other loot in
is
the
a
game.
smart gun. It's one of the more advanced weapons in the game, allowing bullets to track and follow their target. It's
Looks
one
like you carry 3 weapons at once.
Called it a smart weapon.
weapons are built
Can it talk to you?
that allow for deep customization.
Wonder.
Yeah.
This
Be
way,
kind of interesting.
be sure to find some.
You know, like Siri,
Your place.
auto rounds.
The toughest bastards
Yeah.
guarding this route. Probably some reason for that.
Oh, it follows. Oh yeah. As you shoot, it looks for your targets that are in the screen. If they're in their screen, then it'll automatically hit them. No matter if they're under cover or anything, it'll bend until it hits them.
Interesting.
Definitely a slide mode in this.
Jesus Christ!
Jesus Christ, my legs! It's like, dude, I shut your head off before you even finish that sentence.
Including this particular feature we're about to show you, is from a work-in-progress version of the game and may change over the course of development.
Okay, all that shit's covered.
Okay, let's try something different. We're going to take this guy down and connect directly to his neural side.
Yeah, so this is like Netrunner stuff.
You are jacked into a network.
That's
with access to everything it connects to.
definitely something more what I was looking for.
We've now connected to the gang hideout's internal.
This is pretty cool.
This is the building's personnel system. Let's focus on the squad containing the Maelstrom ganger we just connected to. From here, we can deploy software that affects the whole squad. For now, we'll simply unlock the ability to perform quick hacks. All right, time to show off our new high-level ability.
The Mantis Blades.
Using the backdoor we unlocked a minute ago, we'll
That's
install
pretty
a
cool.
virus that jams the connection
Hmm.
between the Maelstrom ganger and his weapon. This will prevent him from firing.
But can you eat people's heads with those blades?
Looks like he's having a problem now. Nice.
Oh, you just
Some of you
you
might
cut off their head.
recognize these men. We can also double jump and bounce off of walls, which makes us a very agile, fast solo.
Check out here.
Sweet. We just found a corporate tech rifle. Corpo weapons are top of the line.
Why does that remind me of a railgun?
Let's scan this guy and see what's going on. It looks like Royce is back, and he's pregnant.
Oh, hey, an exobody. That's
We won't be able to get rid of him that easily.
very Wachowski brothers
Our
of you.
weapons are not dealing a lot of damage because he's packing an autonomous shield. Luckily, the scan we performed earlier revealed a weak spot. Attacking it should bring the shield down.
That's pretty cool, though. You
Indeed.
can kind of direct the bullets to where you want them to go.
Oh, that's a laser. I guess technically qualifies as a linear gun, I guess, but
Shields down. Let's finish him off.
Boy, it ain't going your way, you cunts.
Okay, let's put him down and get this job over. That wasn't the smoothest raid, but we've got the bot, and Dex should be happy. But think back. What would have happened if we hadn't met with the Militech agent? Or told Royce about the agent and her plan? Or just decided to buy the bot ourselves? So many options, so many possibilities. And each will have consequences that will ripple through the game world and your story. And that's just one quest.
It's been a while since I played a game that does that.
Yeah, it has.
Heck, the last time would be the recent Fire Emblem game that came out, actually. But that's a topic for another day.
You know, we really ought to work together more often. Your chip had the clap. That's not discreet. You set me up.
I fucked you over. You fucked the gang over. Somewhere at the start of the story, somebody fucked the Corp. See how this works now? Only the Corp gets what it wants. Remember that. Learn it. A couple years down the line, you'll be standing where I am, watching somebody else do.
Yep, being a raging bitch to whoever's doing my dirty work for me.
We're on our way.
Okay, let's call Dex and tell him how things went down.
My girl,
The shit-eating suits. Vámonos.
Hey, Mr. Dex. Get us that table at the afterlife?
matter of fact, I did. Just to my gut and all, you know.
Well, you were right to.
Well done, Missy. Well done. Let's see that.
So the trunk of the car is in the front.
Shit, I can't believe it, I know.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So it's like a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, kind of.
But the only thing I want to pry open right now is a bottle of scotch.
Oh, no. Not another three-nighter. Por favor.
Need to get to know this city, Jack. Not just gun in hand. I'm on a crusade.
Amen, I know.
We finished the job, but our story is just beginning. This concludes our gameplay demo walk.
So,
Thanks for watching.
oh, I can't wait to play this game.
It looks pretty cool.
Well, if you guys are willing to hear my full opinion,
Go ahead.
well, since this is from the August 2018 demo, there's been almost 2 years, so things will be changing. Thus far, from what I can see, it's a totally different beast when it comes to its character customization and all of its stuff between the augments and what you can do with the environment. Seems like it's a good love child between, say, Judge Dredd and I'm gonna say Ghost in the Shell. Possibly a hint of,
Makes sense.
hopefully a hint of RoboCop 1. You know?
That'd be
But,
kind of cool.
you know, that'll be depending on the ratio of punk to cyber, if you
Right.
get that.
Yeah.
That
I know.
said, the only things I could see worth that possibly changed is that if you could shift between first to third person, you know, to shift up the immersion. Aside from that, my big questions: what are the links, the augmentations, and will they actually change like your humanity score? You know, like you were mentioning.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Number two,
Yeah.
how far can you implement the hand-to-hand combat? You know,
That'd be cool. They add some kind of like different knives or whatever you can use and do different things with.
another question is that they're going on in regards to personal freedom, like how you play the game your own way. This makes me hearken to Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, for if you guys have played that.
Yeah.
In that game, you can kill certain essential NPCs, and while certain quest lines are just hard locked away and you can't go through them unless you replay the game, will this game have that?
I don't know. That's what I was interested in. That's what I was saying. It'd be kind of interesting if I could kill that other guy, that main guy or Dexter or whatever his name was,
Indeed.
just to see if it changes something or if it like shuts down part of the game or whatever.
No, I'm sure it will change a lot. You're killing the main characters. That would, yeah.
That'd be cool.
two main thoughts. First one is in regards to your hacking, splicing. In that regards, taking that tactical mindset and that diplomatic mindset, I feel like will be a good way to get through a good chunk of the steps of the game, but you will have to prepare combat-wise. So you're going to have to, I feel like balancing between the two might be the key to win.
Yeah,
the final question. With all this customization, with both appearance, physiology, so on and so forth, and cosmetics, tactical turtleneck, yay or nay?
Tackle turtleneck? I don't know.
AKA the tactile neck. It's a thing. It is a thing, and I hope we have it.
That'd be interesting. Okay, cool.
It's an Archer. It's in John Wick. If it's in Cyberpunk, I feel like that would just complete the trifecta.
Well, the guy from John Wick is in this game. If you didn't know that.
Yes, true.
Keanu Reeves.
Yep, he's playing Johnny Silverhand. The Rucker.
And prior to this outbreak, we were originally going to be getting back-to-back movies from him. The fourth John Wick and the fourth Matrix movie on the same day. But due to I don't think I could call it upheaval, but interesting circumstance that is happening at the moment. Things are currently on a lockdown.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I was planning on going to the Olympics this year, but nah, I'm just stuck in the middle.
Where's that going to be held at? I didn't even.
It's supposed to be in Tokyo, and it's still going to be in Tokyo. It's just going to be next year.
Oh.
And I've.
Are they going to then change it from? Like, is it still going to be every 4 years, but just differently now? Or is it going to just be the next 3 years and then we'll just do it again?
I am not sure about that, but
that'd be interesting.
That we're having. 1 second. I'm double checking to make sure I'm right. Because if I'm correct with the Olympics, it's every 4 years for the base and every 2 years for the winter. Now, I believe it's happening on the 23rd of July for 2021. So, and it'll end in like the first week or so of August. So there is that. As for the Winter Olympics, because I do want to go to the Winter Olympics, I think it's in 2022, something like that.
Yeah.
But who knows? I hope to get there to see. And I know that in the Olympic Games, we're getting the Winter Games in Beijing. And then from there, I don't know about the... Like, it's Tokyo, then Paris, Los Angeles, and then I don't know what's happening in 2032. I don't know what's happening in 2022, so who knows?
Yeah.
But on the bright side, if I get the rest of what I'm trying to do, I can travel freely soon, so that'll be fun. But
you guys,
what are you working on?
Oh, I've never lived in Portland. I visited, and I crashed there with the siblings back when we were all moving like several times. But no, I still live up in Washington, as does just about everyone. Tasha and Jesse are moving back from Oregon proper. Amber lives with mom, and they own a house together. And Christopher's doing his own thing, and I'm doing my own thing. So, you know. Because, we're like the Spice Girls. We're all different colors and doing our own thing. But,
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to get working on, is doing my own thing here pretty soon. Because my business is merging, so they're shutting it down. So.
For me right now, I am losing weight, saving money to go back to school. Because I only have 2 years worth of my schooling left. And then I wouldn't have to go back unless I really, really want to.
What are you going to school for?
Initially, back in the day. So it's 2020. So for the past 8 years, just about, I did general study for a bit, and my actual career-wise was supposed to be culinary arts, and it still is. But I'm switching over from what it was going to be to baking, because I can get the baking side of stuff done because I've done everything else.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Cool. And hopefully, depending on what happens, I'll either be going through Bayview, UW proper for nutritional science, and then the baking side of things. I'm trying to see if cordon bleu is an option, as French baked goods are better than most.
Yeah, true.
No, they're not the greatest, but they're definitely like
They're
hold
definitely better.
metal, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But since y'all are, I know that Nathan asked me a while ago about my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's growing. It's called Will's Word, and I'm getting done with Pokemon Sword as we speak.
That's good. Yeah, when we end this stream, we'll have you guys put in the chat. We'll drop your
your link and stuff.
Yeah, your links and everything to your YouTube channels.
Thank you.
Yeah, I only got 23 subs, so I'm still pretty small.
I'm sitting pretty at 13, and the highest grossing thing I have is my long playthrough of Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what we do is we're pretty much just, I mean, he talks about his book and does some other streams about just talking about stuff, and then we like to do this stream where we talk about different games coming out and show some different YouTube videos and talk about them and stuff. So, is there any other games we want to talk about?
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the controversy with The Last of Us 2. You didn't hear about that?
Oh yeah.
I have taste, so I'm not playing it. So
I'm not.
I played the first one.
I did
played it
too.
multiple times. The ending I didn't agree with, but was understandable given the character's whole thing. But even then, it felt like a slap to the face. And in regards to The Last of Us 2, I don't care for it.
Oh, I've seen the leaks. I am not happy. A lot of people aren't.
I wonder if we can even show the leak.
You
I
can
wonder
have
their leaks are pretty much been hidden. And if you
Oh.
show the leaks, they'll take down your stream.
You can have an agenda with your content, like
You can, in a way. It should
gotta
follow
be
the story. If it doesn't follow the story, it shouldn't be in there.
yeah, and it
I
has
just
to be
didn't-
tasteful. It has to actually work.
Right.
Because-
It's got to follow the system that you created.
Yeah,
the
keep
world
it
that you
preachy.
create has to follow it, and if the rules are changed and messed up, it just screws everything up.
Yeah, like what's a good example of wacky things done right? You ever play Kingdom Hearts?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Love Kingdom Hearts.
as metaphysics go, half of it won't make any sense unless you play all of it. And once you play everything, it all makes sense. But then you still don't know what the end game is, which is fine. That's how a good narrative runs. But say, for example, what I'm trying to think of an example of where a metaphysical system, the current Star Wars, the sequel trilogy.
Oh God.
Now, for those
horrible.
Indeed. Now, for you two probably don't know, but I grew up with the Legends continuity. I grew up reading the books, playing the old games, collecting the old comics. My two of my favorite Jedi and two of my favorite dark side users, not necessarily Sith, but just people who are affiliated to the dark side. No one knows about them. No one talks about them because no one knows who Exar Kun is. No one knows who Ulic Qel-Droma is. You know, those are just obscure names that no one gives a crap about anymore. But
yeah,
the biggest issue I had with the sequel trilogy is narratively, it was all over the place. There was
Narratively, a lot of things just didn't make sense. They threw things in there that were just, and they didn't explain any of it. It's like
there was there's sadly no real concrete plan, which is the biggest thing you need to have when you're doing anything. Have a plan and stick to it. Be flexible when you have to, but
especially with Star Wars, the greatest franchise on Earth. Like,
was
the greatest franchise. When it comes to the Force and how it functions, it's like take a pitcher of water and get like a dollop of Gatorade or I don't know, a thing of mustard. You know, something that normally you wouldn't put in water. The water itself within the container is the Force and the universe within Star Wars. But the mustard itself is basically the dark side. The Force itself is light. There's no light side, there's no dark side. There's simply the Force, and then there's people that try to force life into something that it cannot be.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why the feedback happens, which is why most dark side users, especially the Sith, have pale, deathly pale, tallow skin.
Yeah, they have corruption.
Dark yellow eyes, aged dramatically. Like Palpatine himself was only in his 60s, but he looked like a scrotum.
Yeah.
Heck, Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader, he was 44 when he died. Not old by far, And
he looked like he was way older.
Yeah, because a mix between the battle at Mustafar, him being deeply immersed within the dark side simply to keep his body, what was left of his body, up and about, and just the slew of stuff he did. Yeah. If things were different, he probably would have lived to be much older. But there's just some things that the Force can and cannot do, and there are certain ways how you have to approach the Force to get it to work and not corrupt everything about you and the world around you. Which is why, the whole Force lightning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the current Disney canon, there is no distinction with it, and it is purely a quote-unquote dark side ability. Which is not the case, because Force lightning is offensive, yes. But say in regards to Electric Judgment, which is a Force ability that was coined and mastered by Plo Koon and later Luke Skywalker. That's all in Legends, and it's the difference between righteous fury as to stop a conflict, not escalate it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that makes sense. But now you can, move something thousands upon thousands of leagues away or planets away, and it still have its physical mass. You could, a force projection is a thing, but that's more in line of, say, battle meditation or force illusion. It just, to quote one of the last quotes that Han Solo had in the movies, that's not how the Force works.
Yeah.
I know.
It was so bad. It was so bad. They did no research. They didn't care. They
just wanted money, and that's the thing. And back to what I was saying is, as Star Wars being the greatest franchise on Earth, is the only reason I say that is because it's literally the one that's got the most money. I mean,
Pokemon
is the most popular.
Yeah, Pokemon
is
type,
huge. Yeah, but I'm talking about for that type of evil good Force type movie.
Yes, when it comes to that level of high fantasy, it has not been beat because it brings high fantasy and it brings sci-fi.
Right.
Those two aren't necessarily mutually exclusive, but the only ones that I could say that could top it if they were brought more into people's mind would be, say, 40K or Gundam.
Gundam maybe. Lord of the Rings would definitely probably blow it out of the water.
I would say
only if they really built the world up a little more than what it is. I mean, I know they only released those 3 movies. If they pushed more into it and they released more about it and everything, I think it could get up there. Lord of the Rings.
Well, the thing about Lord of the Rings and the Tolkien Legendarium is that Tolkien originally wrote The Hobbit, and then that was before World War II. And then after World War II, The Lord of the Rings was written. He had more stories to be told, such as The Lost Tales, Sons of Hurin, and many others. There is a deep lore there, and there's a really good, rich stories that are worthwhile to be told to anybody. But when it comes to certain writers, there are checks and balances. You can't, if you try and build something within that universe, you have to be respectful. You have to not mess with the concrete laws, which is why I don't like Shadows of War. But that's a totally different subject for another time.
No, I agree. Anybody who goes into a pre-built canon or pre-built, what we call canon as fans, is a set rules. As long as you respect what came before, you can do a lot, but you can't change the core. And unfortunately, what happened with Star Wars is they went in and they changed.
Well, they took people that really didn't care or didn't really love the story
They
and the
brought in
lore.
people who hated Star Wars. Like Rian Johnson hates Star Wars. That's why he did what he did, because he didn't like Star Wars as it was. He wanted to change it so that his version of Star Wars was Star Wars.
Like, who was it that said the best way to find if you're wanting something that is a quintessential Star Wars story, play Knights of the Old Republic. If you want a deconstruction of what it means to be a Jedi, what it means to be a Sith, and what the Force can be, depending on your point of view, play Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Right.
If you're wanting something that has a sprawling narrative that from beginning to end works in a succinct manner, watch the original trilogy.
Yeah. You ever played the online one? That's really good.
Yes, I have.
I've been playing that for a while. That's
my only issue with it is that it has certain things involved to Revan, but that's a topic.
Oh yeah, Revan. I read the books for Revan, so
yeah. But if you're trying to make something for the sake of a political agenda, I get that. I understand that. But there's only so far you can go without utterly alienating everyone. If you want to have people understand where you're coming from,
if you want to lose money, alienate everybody. If you want to figure out how to get everybody to be inclusive, then do it right.
Yeah. I mean, heck, look.
And they lost a lot of money.
There was very little political points in regards to Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse. Great movie, wonderfully animated, very well written, very well done, has a diverse cast of different characters from different walks of life.
Yep. But then force it.
Yeah,
that's the difference is they're becoming more and more preachy, and they're trying to shove it down your throat. Like, you will accept diversity no matter what. You know, it's like, well, there's already diverse. Like Star Wars, for instance. Like Kathleen Kennedy's like, are you coming here? I'm making the main person a female because I want female empowerment. There's
already so many good females in Star Wars.
If she's never picked up a Star Wars book. It's obvious she never did. And if she did, she would have realized that Jaina and Mara Jade, Kenneth Ka, and so many other Star Wars female characters were far better written than Rey.
As it stands, I can name 10 different female characters that are not only prominent, but genuinely well written that have been made within the last 20 years, within Star Wars alone. Master Luminara Unduli, Barriss Offee, Master Yaddle, Shaak Ti, Maris Brood, Master Faye Kovan, Naomi Sunrider, Satele and Bastila Shan, and I can never remember her first. I cannot remember her first name, but she is a solo. She's from the Legacy comics, and she had a major point in destroying the remnants of the Sith that happened centuries after the point. Darth Red and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the thing is that of all of those characters that I just mentioned, only 3 of them are white. And they all have various ranging appearances, combat tactics, personalities, and heck, even the character of Ahsoka Tano. While my only issue with her is that it doesn't make sense for Anakin to have an apprentice. Aside from that, I absolutely adore her character.
Yeah, she's a good character. I just think they're forcing her into everything now.
Yeah.
And I don't think they need to. Even George Lucas wanted her dead. Like, have you ever heard that? Him and Dave Filoni were arguing over it because Dave wanted to keep her alive, and George is like, no, she's going to die.
Yeah. But the thing is, with her alive now, and with The Mandalorian was done competently.
Yes.
It wasn't too much, it wasn't too little, and it's basically the mix of Seven Samurai, Lone Wolf and Cub, and Star Wars, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
I like the Mandalorian. I mean, the different things are
feels
pretty
like Star
cool.
Wars.
It feels
Yeah.
like the old Star Wars. Like
Because
it's just nice.
As it
I-
stands, we've had Space Wizards throughout the entire sequel, the prequel trilogy, the Clone Wars, showed the high and low points of the Jedi Order at that time. Going into Legends continuity, 1,000 years before the events of Episode 1, the Battle of Ruusan happened. That was when Darth Bane wiped out the Brotherhood of Darkness, which was the Sith Order at the time. And this was when the Ruusan Accords happened. Because before then, Jedi married. Jedi had kids. Jedi there was a barony system within the Jedi Order at that time. You know?
Yeah.
But since then, you demilitarize an order. You force them to not be able to make connections or have children or marry. You know? But which is counterintuitive to what it means to be a Jedi. You're supposed to be an advocate of life. And what better way to live than there is to find love, have kids, make friends, laugh, cry, get mad, feel apologies. Which is why the best Jedi out of the prequel trilogies is Qui-Gon.
Yeah,
I agree.
He felt things, he emoted, he had emotions, he connected with people of all walks of life, and guess what? He was the one who was able to come back as a Force spirit, a technique that had been lost for countless generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he taught that now everybody can become a Force ghost.
Yeah.
If you don't have Force powers, you can become a Force ghost.
And that's the thing. Like, the biggest issue with the prequel trilogy is one singular factor: metachlorians.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the way he tried to explain the Force through that.
Because before the prequel trilogy was ever a thing, there was a lot of things done up and made, like Dark Empire, for starters, and everything with Exar Kun, Ula Keldroma, Knights of the Old Republic, Darth Revan, and that stuff didn't happen. It wasn't written yet, but damn good games. But before then, people didn't think that, Jedi can't marry. Jedi were this monastic order of monks. A lot of people just thought that they were space wizards, and that's kind of where they need to be.
Yeah, it should be.
They can go...
It's a mystery.
Yeah, they go wherever. Occasionally they have an apprentice, and sometimes people do fall to the dark side. But if Luke has shown if we can learn anything from the first three, like the original trilogy, which is the quintessential essence of Star Wars, no matter how far somebody goes, you can bring them back.
Yeah.
And I deeply feel that that's what the sequel trilogy fails.
Yeah, because they completely destroyed Luke's character. That was like the one thing a lot of people who love Star Wars were like, why did Luke give up on his nephew?
Yeah.
Like, he had a bad dream, die! And it's like, wait, you saved Vader, who literally murdered countless worlds and
children,
thousands of people and children, but he felt good in him, but my nephew has nightmares. Die! I'm just like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
He would never done that. And even Mark Hamill even said that he fundamentally disagreed with Rian Johnson because he knew his character would never do that. That was not Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy. It was Jake Skywalker.
Yeah. Because the biggest lesson of Star Wars, the original trilogy, first and foremost, is hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally, George Lucas said the entire core of Star Wars was the fall, what do you call it? He said it was the
fall and
rise,
redemption.
Rise, fall, and redemption of Anakin Skywalker. It was his story. It was just in the eyes of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, it was supposed to be in the eyes of the droid, which they got rid of most of the cool. I can't believe they put R2 in a freaking hit him throughout that whole trilogy. That was so bad. Just because JJ wanted to market his little freaking ball.
BB-8 is an interesting type of droid, and you could do a lot with it. Just
kicked it.
Do you know how you could have done the prequel trilogy? I mean, the sequel trilogy better.
Follow the books.
You could have taken it. You could have literally just pulled from the books, or you could have said this is 400 years after the Battle of Yavin, because that point in time within Legends is not documented.
Yeah, they could have done all kinds of stuff, but now they're like, "We'll just continue the Skywalker saga, but it's not about Skywalkers anymore. It's about the Palpatines."
Yeah, because by making Rey a Palpatine, and then having her take the name of Skywalker, episodes 1 through 9 are nothing more than Palpatine rising to power.
Yep, his ultimate victory,
stumbling at the victory. Right at the finish line, then him planning to have fallen, having a clone, that clone having a child, and that child inadvertently causing the deaths of the entire Skywalker lineage.
Yeah.
And the thing is that in Legends continuity, the Skywalker line and the Solos do stick around. They are prominent, but they're not the be-all, end-all of Force users. That was never the case. You know, it's the equivalent of, the best way to describe Anakin is he was basically Beethoven gone deaf. Because prodigy, a lot of skill, a lot of talent, went deaf, became infinitely more than what he could have been because of those limitations, which is why Vader versus Anakin, Vader would beat the ever-loving crap out of him. Just simply put. Which is why Luke is as great as he is, because it's all the potential of Anakin with the mentality of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Which, and because the thing is, Luke trained for the span of New Hope to
I think it was
the Jedi is like 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years.
Well, it might have been. I thought it was only a year difference, but it might have been more. I had to look into it.
Because there's it's a 4 or 5 years difference.
Yeah.
So
there's
Luke,
time skips there you don't really recognize.
But Luke, in the span of 5 years, was able to compete with somebody that was butchering people that spent decades training.
Right.
Masterful lightsaber duelists, masters of the way of the Force. The fact that he was able to do that, you got to give the dude credit, because he went from being a whiny farmer to someone who could throw hands with at that time, the most powerful swordsman and Force user in the galaxy. The fact he was able to survive the onslaught of Palpatine's lightning is indicative of that, because there is not many that could, and not many that did. The only one that could have would have been Mace Windu, but we never found the body.
Yeah, a lot of people think that they're gonna bring him in.
We never found the body.
Right.
Then we also never found Luke's hand, because in Legends, that hand gets taken by the Empire and a clone is made. It's an unstable clone, but that is a thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't do anything with that, you could have done a lot of good things, but shoulda, coulda, woulda is the tale of many an old and lost folk. So
that's why we're creating our franchise, is because we're tired of people fucking up the franchises we love. That way we control it. And the fans will have something they don't have to worry about dying.
Which is why, to those who ever will watch this, I don't know if anybody watches anything anymore. If you're gonna go into Star Wars, watch the original trilogy, watch the prequels, watch The Mandalorian. Aside from that, steer clear, at least for now. Until
things calm down, or Disney gets where it has to be bought out by somebody that actually cares.
I mean, the singularity will eventually hit. It's going to happen eventually, so who knows?
Well, as long as Kathleen Kennedy and her people are in charge, we'll never get Star Wars back to like George Lucas Star Wars. And that's what I'm so afraid of the Mandalorians, because now in season 2, they're talking about, like, have you even heard all the people they're bringing in?
They're bringing, from what I've heard, they're bringing in potentially Boba Fett. They're bringing in potentially
I thought this was after Boba Fett. No.
It's
Before?
5 years after Return of the Jedi, and the thing is that in Legends continuity, Boba Fett does survive. He fights his way out of the Sarlacc pit, and every year afterwards, the anniversary of when he was in that Sarlacc pit, he fires upon it from orbit in his ship. Because, I'm sorry, if you get eaten by a giant worm, you're gonna have some serious vendetta against that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he will.
He actually falls into that thing like 3 times. It's kind of crazy.
Poor man. Oh yeah, I know. And then he's got Boba Fett. They're bringing in Ahsoka because they have a person playing an older Ahsoka. They're bringing in from Rebels. I think it was Rebels. Was it Rebels? The other, it's not the Clone Wars cartoon. It was a different one that comes right after the Clone Wars. I think it's Rebels. They're bringing in like 2 of the characters from there. The Mandalorian girl with the purple hair from that cartoon. They're bringing in the mother of the Mandalorian is supposed to be like the Mandalorian like leader. After during the Clone Wars. Have you watched season 7 of the Clone Wars yet?
I've watched it all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the lady at the end who takes over the Mandalorians. It's her daughter in Rebels, and both of them are supposed to show up in Mandalorian now.
I can see it, but the thing is that it's when it comes to franchises, much like in regards to say Marvel, you have to know when to have certain characters and when to not let them appear yet. For example, like in the starting lineup of the Avengers through the beginning into Infinity War, the only characters I would have cut would have been gonna say Captain Marvel and actually unfortunately it would have to be Captain Marvel, because at that time in the narrative we still had the chance of Adam Warlock to be a thing, and we still have the chance for Adam Warlock to be a thing. And the Infinity War leads into the Infinity Gauntlet, within the comics at least. And you could do it doesn't have to involve wibbly wobbly, timey wimey manipulation, because if Kingdom Hearts has taught me anything, time travel, unless it is set and finite, it makes no sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Name a franchise where time travel makes sense, and don't use Back to the Future as an example.
Doctor Who. And that's only because it's Doctor Who. Well, before they destroyed it.
Yeah. Which is such a shame, because I like the actress that is playing the Doctor presently works and makes sense. It has only been recently where they've stumbled. And that's such a
my
shame.
wife and I watched it. We started watching it, and because it came on Netflix, and we started watching on Netflix. And then as soon as it changed it to a woman, my wife was done. She was like, "Nope, that's dumb."
There's nothing wrong with the Doctor being a woman. It's not. It's
yeah. They just have to be able to write it better, and they haven't. The writing is terrible now, and it just doesn't work.
Heck, go look at Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. I keep coming back to it. Within it, the character of Nerevar, he was a member of the Chimer who was murdered by a group of 3 people who became the Living Tribunal. And
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Basically, the Digic Prince Azora basically said, "You 3 screwed up. The Nerevar is going to come back, and you will all be supplanted from your power." And the thing about that is that it was going to be a Dunmer regardless, because it's Morrowind, Dark Elves. If it's not, it just doesn't make sense. But the Nerevar could very well have been male or female. Makes perfect sense. It's cyclical in nature, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, another example would be like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, there are parts of Legend of Korra I like. It's at like the halfway point of season 2 that made no sense, and then a good chunk of season 3 and all of season 4 that made no sense, just at all. But a character that is cyclical in nature, that when they die, they come back in a different form, that can work really well because you could have a various type of people. Like the difference between Avatar Kyoshi and Aang is so intense that it's totally different. People completely no semblance of how they do things. Mainly because of the fact that Kyoshi was voiced by Jennifer Hale, aka Commander Shepard. But that's Mass Effect, and that's its own. That is a talk for another day. That is a talk for another day.
But yeah, no, it's just you just need good writers. The problem is a lot of Hollywood aren't good writers. They're activists who pretend they're writers, and they believe that their activism will sell the stuff, and it won't. And we're seeing it die fast right now. I think it's over. I think after when the thing that shall not be named ends, we will see a lot of different things because they can't afford to keep preaching and losing money. Because if you haven't seen so many movies they made that are all this is female empowerment, this is that, have been just bombs.
Which is such a pity because how do you flop Charlie's Angels?
Yeah, right.
How do you flop?
Literally, the movie was made about 3 sexy chicks who play spy, but they look sexy and they have fun doing it. Like if you ever watch the original, they look like they're having fun.
Yeah. How do you screw that up?
It's because you're like, I want 3 sexy chicks who aren't sexy, who don't want to dress sexy and don't act sexy and just yell and demean you for no reason. Like what? What?
I was brought up like
Terminator. How do you fuck up Terminator worse than it already been fucked? Like it's a robot that goes back in time, tries to kill the kid, and then it's like, oh, he killed the kid.
Speaking of which,
you got a new one.
I didn't know that they made a movie after the second one until very recently.
Oh, yeah. 1 and 2 Terminator were great.
I didn't know that they made a third one. I didn't know that they made a third one, let alone everything else.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Bad.
Like, I only recently figured out that there was a third RoboCop.
Yeah.
Let it be known for anyone that's watching this, I don't have cable, and I
don't have cable either.
That is weather.
I use YouTube, Netflix,
or
Hulu.
the
That's
one
about
sports team I care about.
I have Netflix cable, but
of course, I do watch my Chiefs.
Nathan is Chiefs. Yeah, the only reason I have cable is because I have AT&T, and if we have our cable with our AT&T, I get unlimited data. So that's all. That's all I use it for. I don't even turn on the TV for cable ever, and half the time it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even have cable. I'd rather just have the internet and do whatever I want with the internet.
I watch YouTube. Pretty much all I watch is
YouTube and Netflix.
Netflix or
Netflix and YouTube,
and then
Hulu. That's about the 3 I watch.
A lot of live streams.
Yeah.
Watch a little Twitch.
No.
I miss my esports. Esports needs to come back. Stupid thing that shall not be named.
Oh, we should get to that right now. You guys hear about the whole new safety and what's it called? The safety team or something like that on Twitch?
No, but I'm gonna look this up. Twitch.
Yeah, look it up.
Team.
And look at the people. And one of them.
Safety Council.
Yes, it is.
And beer.
Horrible.
Council.
Yeah, the Twitch's new thing where they're trying to be more inclusive, and they're having these people who they're giving power to. That
you want me to show this video? I don't know.
No, you don't. Which video is it?
Somebody created this. The Twitch Safety Council's a joke. Dear girl.
Who's the person?
I don't know.
We gotta tag them. I mean, like, let's at least shout them out.
I don't know. Let me.
Should be right underneath the video. It should say by.
I don't know. I'll have to look at that one. Anyway, I'm just gonna.
But yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, there are certain people. It's fine to be whatever you like. I have no problem with people being whatever they want, as long as they don't like push it on others.
There's nothing wrong with being evangelical unless you are dogmatic about it.
Yeah.
That person sounds like they're dogmatic about it.
No, well, the problem with this one is that there are certain people who have mental illnesses. There's actual mental illnesses out there, people. I know, shocking, right? And we used to have organizations that took care of these people in professional settings. Now we don't. And instead of putting them in professional help, they're giving them power.
Well, she says, like, here's a good quote. Here's a quote from her. All right, here's an actual quote. Says,
yeah, there's lots of
Twitch
quotes.
safety. It says, this is her quote. Many gamers are white supremacists.
Yep. She's literally on the board of Twitch, which is a gaming channel, and she claimed that most
And she
gamers.
also said, she said, my life is actually more valuable than most of my fans that watch it.
There's a dude who became a woman who thinks she's a male deer. Let that be. And she literally has videos of her talking about how she goes outside and eats grass and prances around so she can feel at one with her deer self. This is a person they gave power to. I'm like, holy crap.
I know that there are people that are transgender and there are people that are transvestite, and there is a difference. I know that there are people who are furries, but
I don't know.
Every life on the planet has the right to live. If someone is directly causing trouble, like for instance, say someone is like a terrorist attack, the people should be apprehended, punished accordingly.
Right.
If there has been loss of life, therefore they should go to prison for it. Depending on the extent of the damage, their life is forfeit, either through acts of civil service for the rest of their days or by execution. Now, let's say, for example, say you have a wife and a husband and a couple kids. The husband cheats on the wife. The wife then leaves him with the kids, and over time, the husband learns his wrongdoings, makes right by it. The spouses do not remarry. They don't get back together or anything. They go their separate ways. But the husband in question continues to do right by the kids and by the spouse. That is a due process of, you did a wrong thing, you must pay for it.
Yeah.
That is life. Therefore, any life that is lived is just as important as the next person, because you never know what that person's going through, you know?
Yeah.
So for anyone, be they someone who is royalty or someone who, like even the current Pope, he goes out of his way to help people.
He's also a nut job.
I didn't hear that last part. No, I literally didn't hear it. Your mic.
He just said he was a nut job, or he thinks he's a nut job.
I mean, from what I've observed of the current Pope, he's not a terrible person. So,
unless they just changed the Pope recently, there's one that was all like, "Walls are evil, down with walls," and we're like, the Vatican has walls.
Shut
up.
The Vatican presently is one of the most secure places on the planet.
I know.
It's that and the
outside the White House and that and a couple other places.
You know, it was the whole thing with the South Wall, like where we're building the wall in Mexico border, and he's like, "That's evil. That's wrong." And we're like, "You have a wall around the Vatican. You take that down." He's like, "No, that protects me."
When it comes to the whole thing personally, when it comes to the whole thing with our south border and the huge immigration problem that we've had which has been a thing since before we were a country and will be a problem onward into the
Forever.
future.
Right.
It is a matter of checks and balances, having a fully fleshed out system of this is where you go, this is what you have to be able to do, and make it, quite honestly, there are, like, the whole
We should
citizenship
make it
test.
easy, honestly. We should make it easier and better. That's what we
This-
need to do. And
we have to
create a
have it be
process.
more-
And they don't have one.
We have
That's
to
the problem.
have it be more accessible.
Right.
And the thing is that the
With all
citizenship test, there are many people that are born and raised here in the States that would not pass the citizenship test.
Yeah, that's true.
The fact that we are making U.S. history and the full breadth of U.S. history without any political or personal biases is a bad thing, because there are good and bad people on every side of history. And I think I've noticed more and more over the past several decades that we've lost sight of that.
Yes, we have.
More so since the 50s, to be honest.
Oh yeah, ever since
Because-
the 50s. I mean, from 60s onward, honestly, I think that's where everything started going.
Yeah, because
I don't know if it was the Great Depression that brought it on. I don't know if it was the First World War. I don't know if it was World War II or what happened. But ever since the hippie generation, we've just went.
Hippies.
Which is unfortunate, because there's a lot of things that the hippies were trying to advocate that did make sense. Having replenishable energy is smart. Going about it the way that they have been has caused nothing but a
problems.
systemic problem.
Yeah,
And
tax
then you have to-
companies. That doesn't help anyone.
And yes, companies and corporations should have checks and balances. Look no further than Disney when it happens when someone has a monopoly on entertainment, let alone resources like power, electricity, construction, internet,
Right.
media, so on and so forth.
Right.
Like, as it stands, is it not the fact that everyone should have the opportunity to try? If they don't want to put in the effort, that is on them, and they must reap what they sow.
Right.
Like, that's just case in. I've got a friend of mine who's one of my closest friends. He has worked himself damn hard for the past, since I've known him, actually, and I've known him since 2008. It is 2020. He is currently an animator for Rooster Teeth.
Oh, I know Rooster Teeth. Yeah,
he's a phenomenal individual. He works hard at that, but guess what? He's also very healthy. He runs every day, and he does good by the people around him. That's what happens when you have a measured amount of responsibility for your own life and your own actions. It has only been recently that I have been doing that, and I can say I'm glad that I have been.
I need to. I'm a fat old man. I got the dad bod. 4 kids will do it to you.
I mean, I don't have a prospect for children nor marriage, so, and I'm not having one without the other, so
Right.
I get it.
Yep, I hear you. I mean,
I don't know. I feel like people need to think of the fact that we all have the right to life, and we all have the right to say, hey, no, I don't agree with you, and not be treated like you're the spawn of Satan.
Yeah.
Right.
Just because you have a different opinion doesn't mean you're Nazis. For God's sake, I'm so tired of hearing you're a Nazi. I never put Jews in a transit camp, okay? I'm not a Nazi.
And the thing is that people often forget that it was Germany being the first country that the Nazis invaded.
True.
Right.
You know? And frankly, when it comes down to it, everyone has a differing opinion. Even people who go to the same church have a different interpretation of what is written and said within the Bible, which is why forums, discussion, and communication are the cornerstone of what makes things work.
Right.
You know? Like, damn.
Well, that's why I don't agree with half of like Disney and Sony, for example, on shutting down the forums of people trying to, open the discussion between them and what they're doing. And then they're just shutting them down. They're like, nope, we don't care. Well, you're going to reap what you sow very soon. I promise you.
Thus far right now, because the leaks came out for The Last of Us 2. Okay, yeah, that was bad for them because of their company. It's going to hurt their bottom sales. But the problem is that was on them. because they lack their security, or if the rumors are true and an employee got pissed off because of not getting paid and just went out and said screw it and released it, that's on them. They should have paid their damn employees better. But anyways, that's on them. And just because the big thing we have is, it's out there, and as long as we're not showing the full videos, I can understand, like, if you have like the literal leak video and you're showing it, you're probably going to get taken down for copyright.
Right.
But if it's already out there and it's in the media and it's everywhere, but you're only attacking those who have a negative opinion about it, because that's literally, I've seen it where they have YouTube channels that, especially the ones I follow, have been attacked constantly from Sony. Almost took down one of the guys' channels, RK Outpost, Ryan from RK Outpost. They gave him 2 strikes on his channel. If you don't know YouTube, you get 3, you're done.
Was it Sony or was it Naughty Dogs?
It was technically it's Sony, because Naughty Dog works for Sony. They're an actual Sony company. And what it was Muso. The company that did it was called Muso Entertainment on behalf of Sony. That's in there. And if you actually go to their website, it's like a shell company for Sony is what it is. And what they did was they were just striking people. And now they've been going after memes. They went after Twitter. They went after any tweets, any memes, any little videos, even videos that had like completely, like, let's say you draw an art and you call it Abby, and you say, look, it's Abby. And then you say, oh, Culture Casino. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Hell.
Huh.
So they lifted it, and we'll see if they keep it that way, because people threatened to sue them pretty much. They were like, okay, that's it. We're taking you to court then, because they obviously broke the law. They did. They were striking things that were like literally us talking. They had Geeks and Gamers was doing a live stream like this. They had over 2,000 people on there watching, and they took down their stream. They didn't show any pictures. They didn't show any videos. All they were doing was talking about the leaks. So they were like, oh, your conversations we own. And, they're like, no, you don't own conversations. It's out there. People can talk about it. None of us are under we're not, we never signed any paperwork saying that we can't talk.
1984.
Oh, yeah, the copyright law?
No, the book, 1984.
I don't know it. What's up?
Basically, long story, very, 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 very short. It's a dystopic future where people manipulate and construe thoughts, opinions, manipulate history, manipulate the written word, media, and control what people say. And anyone under any circumstance that has a differing opinion, thoughts, or even considers the very idea that the ruling party, not ruling class, not aristocratic, ruling political party, is at fault in any way, shape, or form, or even is even questioned, they are removed, subjugated, lobotomized, or killed.
Yeah, it's pretty much what they want to do now. There's a part right now.
1984.
Literally think if you're right wing or even centrist, you're evil and you should die. And that's nuts. But
I mean, to be fair, I'm sure there are right wing, like far right wing people that believe.
Oh yeah, anyone far on either side's bad.
But it's just terrible.
I've never been right or left. I was always centrist.
I'm a
I
centrist.
don't like talking about politics on here too much, but that's what I always consider. I always listen to the argument, I listen to the person, and I voted to my conscience as whatever.
I do a lot of research on both sides. I do. I really do. I watch a lot of.
I hate all politics, really. I
listen to a lot of different things, but yeah.
And you have a legitimate reason to hate them.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that most people who bitch and complain about people in power don't work for said people in power.
Yeah.
Like, if you work for the federal government, you have every reason and right to bitch about them. I used to work retail. I used to work retail for the span of 6 years.
I did too. I feel your pain.
And guess what? That's why I don't go to most game stores anymore. Specifically, most GameStops. There are 2 within the state that I go to. 3 if I count the one that's just north of me. But aside from that, I go to other GameStop. I go to other game stores like Super Smash or like Game Brewers or something, anywhere else, because I know that not only will my money be appreciated there, but my opinion will be. And that I know that my stuff will actually go towards a
Something
purchase
good.
and something worth.
Yeah.
And
I like going to game stores. Well, GameStop, we have one here. I'll sell my stuff there. I won't get much. Actually, vintage stock we have here is vintage stock, and that place. I like going there to get books because they have like 2 different stores here. They got one in the mall, which has a lot of like toys and comics and all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of like our comic book store. And there's another one that's up here towards where I live, and it has actual like novels and comics and CDs, and it's smaller, but it has a lot more what I like. And I go for the novels, and I'll get a comic maybe here and there if I see one. The other thing, I have done supporting the mainstream comics, period. Like, I don't support. If you don't know, Will, about Comicsgate, I suggest you look up some of them. They're like, do you know anything about Comicsgate? Have you heard anything about them?
No, I have not.
Pretty much, one of them is good. EVS. He is a former DC Comics creator. He's helped create. I know. He helped create the prison from DC, Iron Heights. Yeah, he is the one that created Iron Heights prison, and he helped create a lot of stuff with the Green Lanterns. So he's, well-known comic book creator, and pretty much because of his politics or political leaning, they threw him out of the mainstream. So he went and did his own. He does a YouTube channel. If you ever want to look him up, he's really good. He supports a lot. He helps support a lot of comic book guys. Well, there's a group of people who came together. They're all individual comic creators. They're tired of the political crap in comics, and they're creating their own stuff. So they like crowdfund to make comics. His is called Cyberfrog. Fantastic looking. I want to back the newest one. Is his second book. I didn't get to back the first one, so I'm hoping to get back the second one soon. If my wife will actually let me, because right now we're not in the richest people, but we're trying. I support what I can when I can, and so I really enjoy Comicsgate guys. They're honest. You see their work. They're good, and if you don't like their work, you don't have to support them. Stuff like that. And
that's another thing that people often don't realize. If you don't like something, don't watch it.
Yeah.
I don't care for Legend of Korra that much. Therefore, I don't own it. I don't care for like 80% of the Fast and Furious franchise. Therefore, I don't watch it. I don't care for 90% of stuff from the WWE. Therefore, I don't watch it. I don't appreciate half of the crap that's come out for certain things with Dungeons and Dragons. Therefore, I don't own it. Like,
you gotta stick with your wallet.
If you don't like something, you can say, "Hey, I don't appreciate this. Therefore, I'm not going to buy it."
Yeah.
Like, for instance, there were two Captain Marvel movies that came out the last 2 or 3 years. The one from DC, and the one from Marvel.
Yep, didn't watch either one of them.
I watched both of them.
I didn't watch Captain. I had no.
I watched. So the one from DC is known as Shazam.
Right. Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, I've heard of it. Yeah.
I watched it. I enjoyed it a lot. It had a diverse cast of various walks of life and various people, and showed off what it means to come together and fight for something greater than yourself. That's what happened in Shazam. Now, as for in regards to Captain Marvel, can't say it because I can't really recall most of what happened in that movie.
All I know is
such a pity. Because
nope.
The character of Carol Danvers of Captain Marvel, you got a lot of good potential with that character. You could do a lot of really kick-ass shit with it. Sorry for swearing, but
no, you're good.
It's a fact of life. Like, it's a fact that you got a character that by pure comic lore wise can go toe to toe with the biggest, baddest brawlers in the entirety of Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
But you basically turned the character in what is the equivalent of a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to use the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem.
Because I will come back to the Captain Marvel bit when I return.
Okay.
But yeah. All right. Yeah, we can. How you doing, Culture, Christine? You still here? I think you are. Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, but yeah, you know, I do like watching a lot of the guys, especially Batwoman. Like if you're CW, I used to like some of the CW. Like the first season of Arrow was fantastic.
Oh, the first few seasons of Arrow were great. It was,
and it got weird. And
it got really strange.
I like the first season of Flash on CW.
Yeah,
and
first season of Flash.
doing
Actually, I really liked what CW was doing for the first few. Actually, a lot of their characters they were working with until recently. Until like three seasons in or 4 seasons in, it just got everything got weird. I don't know what happened there, but everything got weird.
All the right, whoever I think they probably changed writers or someone took over. I don't know, but it's horrible.
Something changed.
Supergirl, I thought the first season was like, meh.
I liked it. I liked the first season. I thought the first season was good.
I hated Jimmy Olsen. I hated him. They're like, here's Jimmy Olsen. He's a black guy who actually has, spunk, and he's actually cool. I'm like, wait, Jimmy Olsen's supposed to be a freaking nerd. He's supposed to be this little nerdy kid who always get into trouble and has Superman save him. Instead, they turn him into some other character. I was like, that is dumb.
Okay, yeah. But, I mean, the rest of it, though, it was pretty good, well written. I mean, it was interesting. It had its moments of weirdness, but it wasn't too bad. And then it got into, like, the third season, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't stand the Flash. I liked it the first season. And then, like, the second season, he's like, I'm going back in time, and I'm going to fuck it
once
up.
it started going...
And again.
Then he did it again, and over, and over, and over. And I was like, okay.
Somebody doesn't know how to write the Flash because this guy is...
Somebody decided, we don't know what else to do, so we're just going to have him mess with the future all the time.
He doesn't ever learn his lesson. Like the first time, everybody's like, Barry, don't go back in time and fuck up the thing. Okay, I won't. Does it within the same episode. It's like, oh my God.
yeah, it just got stupid. It's like Barry's an intelligent guy. Okay, they made us really good, intelligent, superhero who can do a lot of things and is smart and uses a suit correctly. And there's a lot of good things about it. And then they make him dumb. I'm like, how do you go and create this generally smart dude and somebody that actually could do a lot of things, and then go and do it that, and then becomes what I call lazy writing, which is same thing over and over and over and over and over. Like, what the heck? Do something different. Change it up. Do something. All right, the Arrow. I liked the Arrow up until he went off onto the island or whatever.
He basically
came back and then became Batman. I was like, no.
Green Archer. Where's the quips? Where's the Van Dyke mustache?
Right. Like, I mean, the first couple seasons were okay. They were all right. But then they did that with it, and I was just like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah, I like the first season. Like first and second season Arrow were really good. The first one was like really cool because he would do he was like just.
It was very interesting. Like the whole way they've set it up, and then they killed it. I'm like, why? Why did you have to get lazy writing and do something stupid and try to change the character? Just don't do that. Just don't do that, and you'll have a ton of followers. You'll have a ton of people.
Heck,
like
Presley,
money.
Actually.
Yeah.
Currently, in regards to the show Batwoman, which was a thing, because the character of Batwoman is a thing.
It is.
God, that show.
It is a thing. The current Ruby Rose, the chick that plays her.
Not anymore. She quit today.
Yeah, she quit. Like, you had some, which I don't understand.
How do you mess these things up? How do you mess up these great writing that is just there? It's already there. It's already written. How do you mess that up? How do you take a comic that is already written, made millions of dollars, and then screw it up? How do you do that? I don't know how.
Well, the problem is there's multiple versions of the comics, and there's multiple writers of the comic. There's good of every comic, and there's bad of every comic. And the problem is a lot of these people, the SJWs, have infested mainstream comics, and so they have infested a lot of the other stuff. Like, for God's sake, Marvel is creating a little comic with little SJWs in it. Like,
yeah, I know.
Space and
I mean,
whatever.
I don't even care about that, to be honest.
Dear God.
And here's the reason why. If you're gonna go and make a superhero specifically for something, fine. Don't care. It has nothing to do with me. I don't care. Do whatever you want on that part. But don't mess up the characters that were already created.
Exactly. Augmenting pre-existing work only works if you're trying to improve it. If you're trying to shift it for a political purpose, you are in the wrong.
Like, there are some things, like I told Daniel this, like about, going back to different franchises. For example, the Lord of the Rings, right?
Oh, leave it alone. If they touch Lord of the Rings, it will be.
There's only one thing about the Lord of the Rings that I just don't really care for.
Okay.
But
That's fine. We all have our franchises.
Right.
Lord of the Rings is my favorite.
I love Lord of the Rings.
Literally the last franchise I have left. Please God, don't let them touch it.
That's fair. I'm asking, what is it that you have issue with in regards to Lord of the Rings?
Oh, what was I talking to you about, Daniel, the other day? We were talking about Lord of the Rings, and I was saying that there's different storylines we could change about it that would make it better. We were talking about the rings themselves a little bit.
Like the
whole it depends.
Well, you need to read the books.
I have read the books.
I did.
Better.
Yeah, I did. I read all three of them. Or
I will
four of them,
actually
actually. But they have a lot more. I've read the main four.
Because I got the audiobooks and I'm watching the extended I watched the extended movies, so I'm going to go back and I want to make some videos where I compare the extended version movies with the actual book. And I want to show the differences, like the characters that aren't in the movies. There's a lot of characters who aren't in the movies.
Well, that's the thing. There are some characters that, narratively speaking, for a movie, wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
Tom Bombadil being the shining example, because
I wish he was in the movie because that would be fantastic. But I understand why they didn't take him out. I do. I understand. Like they're like, yeah, people might not really enjoy the whole dude running around.
I think understand rather than enjoy, because Tom Bombadil is the literal manifestation of the England countryside.
Yeah.
Unfettered and undaunted by the change of time and the threat of war, pretty much, which is why the ring had no control over him. Now,
I loved it in the book where he like picked it up and it went on his finger and he laughed because he could sense, because the ring has its own like will.
Yeah,
and so it like got on his finger and it was trying to tempt him, and he just laughed at it. It was like, please. I was like, that's awesome.
I would say that to have a full breadth of, when it comes to Lord of the Rings, the full legendarium in and of itself.
Yeah, there's a lot more stories than just the main.
And the thing is that you don't need to change it. It's fine as is. Now, if you're wanting, like, the biggest, I guess, trespasser or issue that I've come to see within the Lord of the Rings that has an overstep would be Shadows of War and Shadow of Mordor. And the only reason why that is the case is because of the ring lore that is in the game and the implementation of the Wraiths and the character of Shelob. Aside from that, was perfectly fine. Those are the only issues within it. But those are fundamental aspects of it that just make it fall apart.
I know they're making a new TV show, Amazon.
It's supposed to be depicting the Second Age, which can work depending on what they're trying to discuss.
Yeah, a lot of people are like kind of worried about it, and of course, right? Especially in this day and age. Anybody who picks up a previous franchise and is like, "Hey, we're going to do this," it's like,
there is an air of
all
caution.
right, but please don't make it bad.
Yeah,
like Netflix did The Witcher, and the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, that was all right, because I could especially at the beginning, I was so lost.
I was so lost when we were watching it. When I was watching it, because it just jumps over from time to different times.
Yeah,
and I had no idea what I was looking at, and I had no idea where I was. So I was like,
It
was actually pretty good. Like, I actually enjoyed the show. I was like, wow, you know what? They did a good job. And they did the characters good. They did them pretty good justice.
I think some of the battle scenes could have been a little better, but that's just my opinion.
But back to Lord of the Rings, it is J.R. Tolkien was a freaking master, genius level master. And that's what, his family still owns the rights to it. So hopefully I know his son just passed away recently, so that's why Amazon was jumped on it. They're like, hey, we can do this, let us have, but the people who still own it, his family, are like, yeah, but we're going to watch it and make sure it doesn't, go against, doesn't contradict his vision of Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't mess up that. I mean, you just can't. Those kinds of things they're already pre-written. They're done. They're in stone.
The problem is there are people out there who don't care. To them, it's, hey, this has a massive fan base. If we get the rights to it and we just make a lazy...
This is already a mainstream build. We can easily make money at this. And then they just throw something in there without even caring about what it was that created it in the first place. And then you just lose all that fan base. And they're like, well, why did I lose $50 million on this movie? Well,
some of them don't even care about us as fans. A
lot of them don't.
Star Wars, we were talking about Star Wars.
Well, that's Disney. Disney in itself doesn't care about its fans anymore. They just...
there are people... Disney cares about money. And Lucas...
Not anymore, yep.
When it was under George Lucas, George cared about his fans. He did. And the people who are there now don't want us as fans. They want...
He made it. He made it.
Gone.
How dare we have an opinion and have a penis?
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically.
If you know how they did Galaxy's Edge, and there was actually a story out there where they had the guy who was in charge of making Galaxy's Edge,
the Imaginarian, yes.
Yeah, in the Imaginarian, he was talking, and he said that they already had plans to make the original trilogy as Galaxy's Edge. They had the casino all planned out and where they're going to put it. And then one day, Kathleen Kennedy walked into Bob Iger's office and said, so are you sure we want to make it, by the original stuff? Because that's only 50-year-olds up will remember. Or should we make it with our stories? Because we're going to have so much more we're going to put into Star Wars that they won't care about the original stuff. And so she pretty much is she convinced Bob that it was kind of pointless to make it about the original stuff. It should be all about their stuff. And her vision of Star Wars.
Divisive.
Right.
Derivative. And in some parts, unfortunately, due to J.J. Abrams, while as a director, he is perfectly fine. As a narrator, he is not, because most of his stuff is very self-cannibalizing.
Right.
Look no different than
Star Trek.
Yeah. To point parallels with Star Trek and Star Wars as a narrative within the last 10 years is staggering, and that scares me.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Now that Picard thing, I feel bad. I've never been a big Star Trek fan.
I haven't either, but
I feel bad for what they did with Picard, because they literally took a guy that people love, and the guy who plays Picard, what's his name?
Stewart.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart does not like Picard. He's openly said he hates Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
So he took a bunch of money, went in and made a show all about destroying Picard. The entire show was literally, how do I make myself look like a piece of crap and have everyone around me tell me how much a piece of crap I am?
And that's
I felt bad for Star Trek fans, because it was it's Luke Skywalker if Mark Hamill hated Luke Skywalker.
I mean, but they did destroy Luke Skywalker.
They did.
I will have to say I got to get going, but you guys can just sit here and chat. I'll watch it, and I'll chat with you guys a little bit here and there. But
all right,
I gotta get off.
All right, I'll see you later.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Actually, probably will wrap up here pretty soon, anyways. It's getting kind of late.
I guess my only ending point would be, like I said, in regards to Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Now, here's a way how you can fix Captain Marvel in Endgame, and like the span of less than a couple paragraphs. You have the character of Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson, have her movie before Endgame.
I know, I wish they did. They should have.
And have it before Endgame, have it lead into the circumstance of what happened in the Infinity War. Have the movie of Captain Marvel be the thing in between Infinity War and Endgame. However, remove Brie Larson from it and turn the character of Black Widow into Captain Marvel.
That'd be interesting.
It would give a lot of buildup, and you would have someone that went from being this cold, calculating, ruthless assassin into someone who can be that figurehead, who can be that torchbearer for the next iteration of the Avengers. Because, as it stands, Thor stepped out and is joined the Guardians of the Galaxy. Tony Stark is dead.
And they made Fat Thor. I was like,
Captain America is currently an older man, and he passed his shield on to Bucky and
he passed it on to what's his name? Falcon.
Yeah,
he gave it to Falcon. I was like, what? He gave him his own powers. Let Falcon be Falcon, not Captain Falcon. They should have given it to Bucky. Bucky should have become the new Captain America.
The thing is that both the characters of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier do wield the shield at different times and sometimes coincidingly in the comics, which works and makes sense. My biggest issue, though, is there's no one to lead the current what is left of the Avengers.
Yeah, they're gonna put Brie Larson in charge.
Which, if you do that, you have someone that's from throughout the entirety of both Captain Marvel and throughout Avengers Endgame, she's not someone that can lead. She is the hammer. She is the spearhead. She's someone that you throw this person at the enemy to defeat the enemy. She's it's the equivalent of, oh, there's a legion of vampires. Let's throw Simon Belmont at them.
Yeah.
What's another great example?
They could have. I thought they were going to turn Spider-Man into the new, leader.
Yeah, which would certainly work. But the fact of the matter is that
I don't like this version of Spider-Man, though. I think he has the spunk, but he's too much. He's too much the kid Iron Man. I think they just
which I like the idea of us getting a version of the Iron Spider, which could work really well, but that version of Peter Parker has a lot of influence from the Tony Stark mentality. You don't really have that much of the scientist. You have the engineer, you've got the tech specialist, but Hank Pym is an old man now.
Yeah, I didn't like that they did to him. Ant-Man, that was bad.
Which Ant-Man is a legacy character. The mantle is passed on throughout generations. Hank Pym, as a scientist, we need that, but he's an older man now. The actor is getting up in years. Scott Lang is a really good Ant-Man, but he's not a scientist. Wasp is a scientist who could take that role if need be, given the fact that she is also Hank Pym's daughter. But we don't have a Reed Richards. We do not have the hardware. We do not have the software to Tony Stark's hardware, and that in there is the issue. Because
and now you got Smart Hulk.
Which could work.
God, I hate that.
You can do great things with the equivalent of Smart Hulk, but we're not. Because for some reason, Marvel/Disney refuses to have the Hulk in a lead role anymore.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that both of the ones that we've gotten within the one that we got in the MCU was really good. But I don't know. All I know is that as it stands, the only of the Marvel characters anymore that I give a crap about, within the MCU at least, I'm gonna see WandaVision. I'm gonna see the buddy cop adventures of Bucky and the Falcon. And I'm gonna see the Eternals because we get Kit Harington as the Black Knight. Which sold me because the Black Knight is one of my favorite comics, period. But to that end, I don't care about anybody else anymore. Because
if you really like comics, I'll tell you, if you ever heard of Nerderotic, you ever watch his stuff?
I have.
I'm a big fan of Gary, so I watch a lot of his stuff.
Though when it comes to comics presently, the ones that I'm reading, it's give or take with Spider-Man because, frankly, which is such a pity because I liked, as a trilogy, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man are really good. There's not a definitive ending to it, which is the bummer. Like we didn't get that formally satisfying ending of the narrative, which sucks. For the Amazing Spider-Man that we got with Andrew Garfield, I really, really liked them because he was a good Peter Parker and a good Spider-Man. And he actually had the look of someone that was an actual science nerd, And my only issue with Tom Holland's Spider-Man is that they're still playing him as the kid.
Yeah, I wish they would grow him up a little bit and just make him his own Spider-Man instead of because that's the only problem I have with him so far is he's too invested with his Tony Stark's adopted son almost is how they've been treating him, and it's he should let him just have his own movie where he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was trying, and we didn't really get that, which is a pity. He's come into his own as Spider-Man in a lot of ways, but we still don't have that. We don't have the dots connecting, which is a pity because the comics have been fairly good when it comes to Spider-Man and all of his iterations between Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, heck, even the Spider-Pig comic is enjoyable in its own right. Spider-Man 2099 or 2099 is really good. Spider-Noir is really good. Even the really anime ones are really good too. Heck, but if anything, I want to have good Spider-Man because if I can't have good Marvel stuff, I at least want good Spider-Man stuff because Spider-Man isn't directly owned by Marvel.
Yeah, it was owned by Fox, who's now owned by Disney, so Disney owns everything now.
Nope, because they don't own Sony, and Sony owns Spider-Man.
Oh, Sony owns Spider-Man. Okay. Yep. I thought it was Fox. Okay. All right. Well, yeah.
Fox owned Deadpool, and they owned...
I know. We're never going to get a Deadpool 3. Oh, I'm so mad about that. Deadpool is my favorite movie of all time.
And they own
number one.
Fantastic Four.
Oh,
and technically they own the X-Men now. Granted, we haven't had a good X-Men movie in a very long time.
I don't think we'll ever get a good one. You didn't see what they did to the Wolverine and Cyclops in the new comics?
I know that they turned Iceman gay.
Well, they turned Wolverine and turned Wolverine and Cyclops to bi, who are all in a relationship with Jean at the same time.
I mean, that satisfies a lot of people's headcanons, but a polyamorous relationship between the three of them, I feel like would just eventually result in somebody getting stabbed in the crotch.
It was cool, their whole thing where they're friends, but they always butted heads because they didn't agree with each other's leadership. That was great. And now they lay in bed together with Jean. Yay. It's like, oh my God. Stop it.
Who was it that once said it's best to quit while you're ahead?
Yeah, it's like, and then there, yeah. How do you like Batman?
That. Now, here's the question. Do you want me to go into a very long, drawn-out, emotionally fueled rant, or do you want me to just answer you quickly?
Just quickly is fine.
Well, from the top to the bottom. I have liked a good chunk of the cartoons. Most of the cartoons have not failed me.
Batman, the animated series was fantastic.
When it comes to the movies, I've enjoyed every single iteration except the George Clooney one.
Mm.
And I'm excited to see what Robert Pattinson will do as Bruce Wayne. I really am.
Really?
Yes, because he is a good actor. He's been in better stuff aside from Twilight. And the fact that,
I see him in Twilight. My wife made me watch Twilight.
The thing is that
I hated that
the only actors within those movies that has actually not really gone anywhere when it comes to actual skill, breadth, and their overall itinerary of things that they've done, like in their portfolio, has been Kristen Stewart, which is a pity because prior to Twilight, she was in fairly good stuff. But since then, it's been like give or take, and it's more, and it has been a very much less than be desired with her, which is a pity.
Yeah.
As for everyone else, they've either moved on to other things, or they've moved on to other things. Like,
oh God, Twilight was like the worst torture I've ever been through in my entire life. Because I was dating my wife at the time, and we had this like thing where she makes me watch a series of movies. I make her watch a series of movies. And so she made me watch all the Twilight movies. Fuck. So I was trying to make her watch all the Lord of the Rings extended versions. She fell asleep every single time. At least I stayed awake. I was like, seriously? She's not a big Lord of the Rings person, which is fine. Some people.
It's a matter of give or take, give and take.
God, those movies. What I want to see as Batman was, I agree with like Gary from Nerd Rock. He said, he was talking about how he wants to see an actual old-fashioned detective Batman, and I agree. I was like, that would be awesome. Let's have it like very detective-y, whereas he gets to the crime scene, he has to investigate crime scene, he follows crime notes.
Originally DC Comics is Detective Comics.
I didn't know that.
DC Comics, aka the house that Batman built.
Yeah,
it's back to life. And the fact that he's been more gothic noir over the past couple of years, and for some reason, people assume that the identity of Batman is just centered around the Killing Joke, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, I think they went to like this where he's like, right now, the only thing I see about Batman, especially in the movies, is like, I got lots of money, I can buy lots of stuff, and I know how to fight. That's all Batman is. And it's like, he's so much more than that.
Heck.
He's smart. Especially in the animated series, especially the original Justice League and the stuff, you really see Batman be Batman, and that's
And he wasn't. The thing about his parents' death, yes, that is one of the catalysts that make Batman Batman. However, that wasn't always the case. And the fact of the matter is that every single Batman villain, his entire rogues gallery, you can't name one that isn't completely and utter warped and changed permanently from one particular trauma, and they never move on from it. You can't name one. However, is not the difference between the heroes and the villains the fact that a hero understands that destiny is out of your control and you accept it and you live your life. Like, you know, because the thing is, you can mule about the past from here till the end of the world. Or you can accept that what has happened is what has happened, move on. Terrible things happen every day, but it is up to you, depending on what you can and cannot do with the resources you have.
Yeah.
And I think the best example of that is, for at least when it comes to Batman, is when Tim Drake was his Robin, the third Robin. The thing is that Dick Grayson became the Robin as a means to get justice for his family, and over time he moved out of Batman's shadow, joining the Titans, becoming Nightwing, and does a damn good job as Nightwing. Jason Todd, as both Robin, the Red Hood, and the Arkham Knight, shows what happens when Batman fails, and is the constant reminder that this is what happens when Batman doesn't have a morality system. You know?
Yeah.
And then you have Tim Drake, the only Robin who straight up discovered Batman's identity and applied for the job. Pretty much. And the thing is that he fits as Robin as well as Red Robin because he brings out the best in Batman. Brings out the humanity within Bruce Wayne. He's a better, as it stands, he is a better Robin and a better detective than Grayson or Todd. He's the only other person outside of Batman that has been given the epitaph of detective by Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
Like, and as it stands, that is where I think he should be.
Yeah.
As Robin/Red Robin, working alongside Batman. And same thing with Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. Because she makes a wonderful sidekick. She makes a great character on her own as either Batgirl or the Oracle. And when it comes to the people that should take the cowl, if in the event of Batman dying before Terry McGinnis becomes a thing, because I will get into that in a second, the only people I think that could be Batman would be Barbara Gordon or Tim Drake. Because Dick Grayson is already Nightwing. Jason Todd is already the Red Hood. Damian Wayne should never have the cowl ever, because I like Damian, but I was introduced to Damian Wayne via Injustice.
Okay.
So I was introduced to the sniveling asshole who killed Dick Grayson. So, and outside of that, I've read all of his stuff, and I think he does make a good Robin, but I would refuse to ever see him as Batman, because he's more than willing to throw hands and kill. Almost more so than Jason Todd. Jason uses guns outright. And people say Batman doesn't kill. No, he knows when to and when not to.
Yeah.
He has the on and off switch, you know? And that's the difference. Which is why out of the folks that could be Batman, it'd have to either be Tim Drake or Barbara. Outside of those guys, Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond. Bar none. Because
I did like Batman Beyond. I really did. The cartoon was really good.
Because Terry McGinnis is basically Damian Wayne without the bullshit that is the League of Assassins. Because League of Assassins is basically the Dark Brotherhood with less steps.
It'd be very interesting if they actually went into the Batman Beyond stuff as in the movies.
Well, they've done it in comics, which are really good. And I really like the Batman Beyond comics. And as a narrative, going from Superman the Animated Series, Batman the Animated Series, you watch the Justice League as well. You have Batman Beyond does its thing into it. Static Shock is a part of that too. Same thing with Teen Titans.
Oh, Static Shock. I remember. Yeah, that cartoon. I remember that.
All that good stuff together, you have a really solid narrative that makes its own thing. And it becomes a league of its own, quite literally.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm 26. Maybe I'm just.
Yeah, you're old. Oh, you're so old.
Maybe I'm just cynical over the prospect of, hey, this is how I think things should go. But I'm gonna be that guy and say I think I'm right.
Yeah.
Not because I think I'm infallible, but because through checks and balances and through failing and picking yourself back up, you understand what not to do and what not to say and when to say what should be said.
Yeah.
Heck, you can even look at my Pokemon team. 6 boys, 6 girls, perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Oh yeah, but I am glad. I know that if you haven't heard, that there is a high chance that they will come up with the Snyder cut to the Justice League movie.
I heard there's going to be potentially a Lucas cut of the sequel trilogy, and if that happens,
I don't know. I know he wrote to the actual trilogy. He
wrote a sequel trilogy,
but threw it out, and that's a shame. I would like at least, if they're not going to show it, at least let it out as like script form, where you can actually get on, like just put it on their website, like, hey, if you want to read what George Lucas had planned, here's the script.
Yeah.
And I think that would be really awesome. I would love to see what he planned. Yeah, a lot of people are like, I know he was supposed to delve into
the building blocks of the Force, aka the Metachlorians.
Yeah, the Metachlorian stuff. And I know a lot of people hate that, but it's George Lucas. He's the guy who built Star Wars. At least let him
have the answers.
Finish it. At least the core trilogy. Let him finish it.
Let him end the Skywalker saga proper.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing wrong with having a female lead in a narrative. There's nothing wrong with having a female lead as your successor. Look at the Star Spangled Man, aka Starman, and his successor, Stargirl.
Mm-hmm. I heard they just did a Stargirl show, and there's actually a lot of people giving good reviews. So
I have no idea.
I'll have to
talk like comic wise, because that's from the original Justice League of America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wonder, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I'm glad for the Snyder people. They've been wanting his version, because I don't like the Snyder version of DC. I didn't. Besides Man of Steel, I didn't really like.
I liked Man of Steel. I enjoyed Wonder Woman for what it was.
Wonder Woman was good,
and Aquaman was great.
I did like Aquaman. I actually I'm a big fan of that actor. I can never remember his name.
Jason Momoa.
Yes, Jason, because I loved Stargate, and he was in Stargate Atlantis, and he was in Frontline, which is on Netflix. It's actually pretty cool. It's like a if you haven't seen that one, it's like colonial America, and he like works with the Indians to do hunting and trapping.
Yeah,
and that's pretty interesting. But he's one of my favorite actors, and him as Aquaman was pretty good. I didn't
did not like Ezra Miller as the Flash.
No, I hated him. I thought the Flash was just a joke. They turned him into a joke.
Which is like, if you're wanting a goofy Flash, it's not Barry Allen. Barry Allen's quippy, but he's not a goofball. If you want a goofball that's like, hey, I'm the moral compass of the team, go for Wally West.
Oh yeah.
And the thing about Wally West is that he's not always black. In fact, because Wally West originally was a ginger, Irish.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is that having a black Wally West isn't a bad thing, because multiverse is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's within a world that has multiverse theory, there is nothing wrong with having there's a Superman that is black.
Yeah.
Al Zod, General Zod's son from Earth 2, he's black, which totally works. And like, heck, that's the good thing about having alternate timelines. You can have that freedom and not screw with things. That's the point. I mean, look at the difference between Supergirl and Power Girl. Same character, different Earths. Both, combatively speaking, are stronger than Superman and can throw hands with anybody that comes their way. But you've got one that's more peppy and one that will not only kick your ass, but will do so upon request.
Yeah.
And yet people, for some reason, despite the fact that she is a confident, empowered female character, people bitch about Power Girl. Is it because of and the thing is, if it's because of the boob window, it's clothing. It doesn't matter. as far as I'm concerned, as a guy, I don't care. She's bulletproof. It doesn't matter what she wears.
True. Yeah, she could be naked and it wouldn't do anything.
She's a grown adult. She can wear whatever she wants. That's what it means to be an adult. You have the choice to do whatever you want. Whether or not you do something smart or not will be depending on whether or not you go to prison. But I don't understand it anymore. I don't get why people complain about shit.
Because they do it. Because it gets attention on certain things.
If you want representation, you got to make it convincing and you got to make it good. If you want empowerment that isn't preachy, look no further than Bayonetta, actually.
Oh, yeah, Bayonetta.
Yeah. Beautiful lady, super confident, doesn't give no craps about anybody's issues about her, and doesn't afraid of nothing. That's not English, but yeah, it works. She doesn't afraid of nothing.
Yeah, if you want inclusive, look no further than the Final Fantasy remake.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 7 remake. Like, I love the original Final Fantasy 7. I love the remake, except for the ending. But they literally had like a transgender dude, but it wasn't a big deal. It was like, hey, he's in the gym, he's cool. He was a cool side character. I actually liked the character. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. He's talking with the big muscle-head idiots, and and then you had where, God, I laughed my ass off when I knew it was coming. They changed Cloud in the dress. I was like, here it comes. And then they did the whole dance thing. I was like,
original. And that's why when it comes to creative people, I have the utmost respect for Tetsuya Nomura, because he started debugging things. He started as a debugger back in like Final Fantasy IV, give or take. And he is now one of the most commendable people on God's green earth. He started as a debugger in Final Fantasy IV. He started designing in Final Fantasy V for monsters. He was able to finally get a little more stuff as character designer of Setzer and Shadow in 6. Helped out in Chrono Trigger. Helped out in Front Mission. I think he helped out in Super Mario RPG, which is one of the best Nintendo RPGs on this planet. It's one of the best RPGs, period. He helped in Chrono Trigger, which is a national treasure.
Yeah, I like Chrono Trigger.
Though the minute he got the chance to be a part of as character designer and just original story writer for 7, it is the most popular Final Fantasy game.
Yep.
To the point where people overhype it.
Yeah, 7 and 8 were like neck and neck for a long time, because there are those who are massive 7 fans, and then there's those who are massive 8 fans. And I like both. I never got to finish 8, which sucked.
Between the 3 of them, I prefer 9 because it harkens back to that classic Final Fantasy feel. But there is no mistaking that 7 is a really great game.
It's my favorite
story.
It took me 2 years to beat that game. 2 years. So I kept screwing up. Because if you go in that game and you don't keep grinding and keep leveling, you'll get to certain points where you can't go back.
And there are certain parts
die. And I had to restart my game so many times.
like going into the rest of the stuff, he helped out in 10, and Final Fantasy X was one of my first RPGs.
I wasn't massive fan of 10. Like, I liked it. I did beat it. And then they did 10 too, and I was like, ugh.
I actually love.
I did not like 10 too. I didn't like the combat system where you're like the same girls, you just can switch your class. I didn't like it. I don't know why. I just didn't.
Combat system does harken back to classic Final Fantasies where you could change classes.
No, I get it, but it didn't hit for me.
That's fair. When it comes to the narrative of 10 and 10-2, the way I've always looked at it is that Tidus is the audience viewpoint. He's not the surrogate, he's his own character, but you can see through his eyes the world of Spira. But the main character is Yuna. Because
that was a pretty good story. It really surprised me at the end of 10 when you just fade away. I'm like, what the hell?
Why I love 10-2 because from start to finish within 10-2, your choices matter, and you can decide whether or not you want a happy, tearful reunion with our favorite happy, laughing boy, or
you do get to bring him back. See, I never beat it. I just couldn't get into it. I had it, and I played like quarter of it, and I just was like, meh.
You can choose to have him come back or have him fade away. Have him truly die.
I could never get into 13.
Because the thing is, that's what relationships are. Even if you're no longer a thing, they're always with you. Those memories are always with you. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And yeah, 13, damn it. Because I like Lightning as a character. She is, within 13, I feel like the game would have been better if you play as Lightning for the first 3 hours of that in and of itself is the prologue. But after everyone becomes a l'Cie, you switch to Snow, Hope, Vanille, and Sazh. And have Lightning be that constant anti-hero antagonist. Because she was a part of Sanctum. And she was of the same level of competency that she was certified with a gunblade. That is not common in their military. So having that character that's not only the character you played as for the first 3 hours, but also the sister of the person you're trying to save and trying to do it her own way, and then after a point, after the second or third disc, then you finally have her on your side. That would work.
Yeah.
And 10-2 was basically Chrono Cross with less skillful writing. Which is such a pity because Kai's Ballad is such a good character. I thought 10-2 was going to be the equivalent of this will segue into the multiverse that is Dissidia. Because Lightning effectively existed out of time and space. There's so much you can do with that, and we didn't get anything.
Yeah.
And then 13 was just a sloppy attempt to try and tie up narrative points because we didn't get Agito 13, we didn't get Versus 13. Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13 does touch on certain narrative points of the it's like the Faba Nola Crystallis, mythos, but we never got what we were supposed to get. Because Agito turned into Type 0, which is a great game. Versus 13 turned into 15, which is a very decisive game, which has a lot of good points, but too many bad points for me to talk about here.
Oh, yeah. Because I understand. I liked 15, but there's a lot of stuff I was like, they could have done better.
Yeah.
If you ever played the online ones, 11 was fantastic, and then 14 started off really bad, but they put
in Naoki Yoshida, the greatest thing since sliced bread.
And that man saved that game. He has made Final Fantasy 14 the greatest MMO on the market. I'd say it's better than World of Warcraft by far, because just the story is so good.
I've been playing 14 since the beta of 1.0.
Yeah, I did, and then I quit for a long time. I couldn't do the first part. Like, I played it, I got to like level 20 or 30, and I was like, I can't grind this anymore. You know, when you're like going to crystals and getting your quest from the crystals, and it was the same quest
almost all the time,
all day. I couldn't do it anymore. After I got like level 20, I was just like, I can't do this.
I
And
got
walked
the
away.
chance to become. I'm trying to remember what I started off using an axe in 1.0. I ended out like when the servers went down for the climax. I didn't get the chance to get a job class at the end of it, sadly, but I almost became a white mage.
Yeah,
but
I play 14 every once in a while. I go on it, I'll play it for a while, and I'll get off.
Yeah, which is
out. And yes, the end game is pretty good. I'm not I don't have the time to get a static. So if you don't have a static, you're not going to do the end raids. You're not going to, you're not going to do the high end stuff.
And you can't have a PV. You can't do PvP if you don't have a static, which sucks because
I know that I tried doing PvP and it takes like forever to get a match, and then
It's such a pity because the feast is phenomenal and it's fun.
Yeah.
I haven't had a good, fun player versus player experience since Halo Reach.
True.
And that's for shooters, and like and I enjoy Final Fantasy 14 a lot, and I'm going to be actually going through it in its entirety. Let's see here. It's May. I'm doing Final Fantasy 1 in a week. I'm going through Skyrim right after. Then I'm diving long into Xenoblade. After that, Fire Emblem.
Oh, Xenoblade, that's a good game.
In like early July or mid-June, I'll be diving into Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2, and I'm hoping to go through Final Fantasy 14 starting at the end of July, because I'm also going to be moving soon. Bigger apartment.
Nice. Yeah, we want a bigger house someday where I can actually have an office space, so I don't have to set my little laptop in my living room.
I just want an apartment that has its own wash machine. Wash and dryer. I'm tired of giving quarters to the laundromat. I like my laundromat, but I need my quarters. But
yeah, we rent a house right now, and I would love to own my own house that's not owned by her parents.
That's understandable.
You know how much fun it is having her dad come over and be like, I want you to do this. And I'm like, oh my God. Don't get me wrong,
I can't say that I understand where you're going from, because I don't date anymore. So I was in a committed relationship for a very long time, and we called it quits kind of mutually as of last July. So.
That sucks.
More than
I understand. I do. No, I understand. I told my wife, I was like, if we ever got divorced, I'm done dating. She was like, you're only 33. You know, if we got divorced next year, you would have a long time to date. I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done. I have I have 2 stepkids and 2 kids of my own. I don't need any more.
It's not really for me. It's not a factor of.
I'm gonna go fishing for the rest of my fucking days. I'm gonna work on my. I'm gonna write my book, and when my first book's done, I'll write my second one until the 6 books are done and out there and working. And then if it blows up, great. I'll do the comic line. I'll do tabletop. Hopefully, if this book, what our plan is, because Nathan and I we're talking about this. I'll quiet cat. Is we want to write the books and use the books as a foundation for the Meter Sphere. You know, because why we call it the Meter Spheres, because it's a multiverse.
Of course.
And I'm doing this because I'm trying to create something new for the fandom, for geek culture, and for pop culture. And so we create the 6 books. I have 6 pretty much fully in my head done, like the whole story. I have a whole storyline up till 3 done, and I'll add 3 more onto that I know will fit. And then there could be other books that follow different characters. And I want to get some of the Comic Gates guys, if these books sell well enough, and hire them to create a comic line that goes I don't know if they'll be exactly like the book, like graphic novel style of my, regular novels, or they'll have like the same, or to follow certain characters as they go their own ways. But then if those sell really well, and if it becomes really popular, say it becomes, really popular, I would love to hire people to make tabletop, because tabletop would be really cool and a fun way to, go in a different direction. And I would make little figures and stuff to sell. And Nathan wants to start his own gaming cafe. And I was talking to him the other day. It would be really cool if we, if he does start it, we can call it the Mirror Sphere, and we can, have it as our central station for everything. So, it's just a bit, I just want something or fans of real fans of geek culture have something that they can go into. And then when I end the 6 books, I'm leaving it in a way that's open. So the core story will be done, but it's because it's a Mirror Sphere Origins, it'll have a core rules to the universe and how the universe works.
Yeah.
And then if people want to, I will allow them to create their own books. Say you have a cool idea for an alien race.
And so basically you would just be the vetting process.
Yeah, I would just be like, I'll read it, and if I like it, I'll help you put it in.
And if it doesn't, but the thing is that if it doesn't fit in with it, you could always help them either way.
Create their own. Yeah, it's like, create your own. Like,
because that's
right now, geek culture has lost a lot. We've lost lots of franchises, and people are hungry. We're tired of our escapism being destroyed. And so this is the perfect time for people who want to be creators to get out there and actually create.
It is.
And, it was Nerdotic, Gary from Nerdotic, who actually said this in a live stream. I was watching him. I was paying attention. He said, you never know who's going to all it takes is one person to come out, write something, it explodes in the next Harry Potter, or next Lord of the Rings. I don't know if I will become that.
Okay, well,
I can only do my
bad. It's just there's some. Harry Potter has its highs and its lows. At the moment, it's at this point where it could go either way with the pseudo prequel anthology series that is Fantastic Beasts, because it's going into the history of like what happened during in the global Wizarding War world, Yeah. Because Dumbledore, one of the big things he was very famous for was defeating the dark wizard known as Grindelwald. And the thing about Grindelwald is that he's like, how do I describe him? He's a villain, but he is someone that, if he changed his approach, would have been the savior of wizard kind forever.
Yeah.
And the best way I can describe him is, I'm trying to think of a good allegory at the top of my head. Dooku. Yeah, he's like Dooku from Star Wars in a lot of ways, because what Dooku was gunning for as the head of the Separatist movement was reformations from the Republic and the Jedi Order. Because at that time, the Republic was corrupt, and the Jedi were, instead of actually helping, they were nothing more than the tools. They were nothing more than the blade of the Republic.
Yeah.
They had no actual agency, and they had no representation really among the Senate, And so, and when it comes to Grindelwald and his whole deal, people were listening to him. Not only like the pureblood separatists, but other wizards, like actual decent folk, were getting on board with his plan, because he wanted wizards to be a part of the world again and not be hiding away. Sure, the way he went, and it's the issue with him, the way he went at it is the thing that caused all the trouble in the first place. if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't know where this, their story will go. It's up to the fans, and if they really like it, hey, it'll explode. If it, I would love it to, and it'd be really. I think it'd be fun. Like I hope it does blow up, and that I can go and do like signings and meet people from all over, meet the other YouTubers like myself for doing a lot of these, culture stuff.
Well, let me know if you need any assistance with anything. I have a absurd breadth of knowledge when it comes to lore of multiple franchises and stories.
Yeah, we could send you a couple, and you can read through it and tell us what you think. We've been doing that. We've been sending to a couple people and having them give us, feedback what they thought. I sent Gary for Nerdrotic the first chapter of my book. He said he thought it had great potential, so we'll see. I told him I wanted my honest opinion. I said when I sent, because I told him I was going to send him a signed copy for review so he can read it and tell me what he really thinks. I was like, I want your honest opinion, good or bad. Give it to me. I could take it. I could take, I can take the criticism. So, if they're like, he's got potential, but you really need to do this or that, and I've already had this story since we were kids. Like this, I've had this story planned out since I was a teenager, and I just never thought about anything. I thought it was just my personal little fantasy story that I created that I would, go back to every now and then when I was bored or, I needed something to do. And it wasn't like I ever planned to write it or anything. And then all this stuff happened. And I was just like, and I heard Gary's like, you know what? If you guys have a story, write it, do it. And you never know. I was like, you know what?
It's true.
Writing is my worst subject. I am the worst when it comes to English and spelling. So Nathan is a lot better than I am. So he's helping me edit it. And so he's helping me also delve into it, which is good because if you're going to write out a story, you need someone to like the best. George Lucas had his guy who's like, all right, especially in the original trilogy. If you didn't know, he had a couple people who weren't yes men who were like, hey, let's not go too crazy with this or this. Let's do this.
Checks and balances.
Exactly. His
trilogy is really good. The prequel is still a very solid narrative, but it's those little hiccups that you take note of, like, like the bits and stories within the prequels that make a lot of memes.
Yeah.
Those are the bits where Lucas didn't have that checks and balance.
Yeah, he didn't have it, and he would have been better if he did. But the way that's what I'm doing with Nathan is he's reading. I sat down for like a month. It took me about a month to write it all out by hand in like 3 or 4 different notebooks, and then I typed it out. And when I finished typing, I didn't even read my note, like the written stuff. I never even look. I looked at the character names and stuff to make sure some of the species that I called. So I remembered, but I didn't read through it again when I read it on my computer. I just redid it pretty much. And it was better than it was in the notebook. And then I went and I sent what I could to Nathan, and he was like, okay, what we had is like chapter 1 turned into like chapter 1, 2, and 3 now. Because he's like, okay, this is cool, but you're doing too, like my biggest problem was I was doing a lot of time jumps. And because the main race of my book live 100,000 years before they die. So in those 100,000 years, I was trying to skip, a lot of the boring, mundane. But if you're in your first book and you're creating a fantasy, some of that mundane thing you might think is mundane is world building.
Mm-hmm.
And so Nathan's like, okay, well, you skipped like 200 years. Well, what happened in those 200 years? You said they were training, but what? I'm like, they're training. And they're like, no, let's delve into it. So I was like, okay, fine. So I pretty much rewrote almost the entire book so far again. And so, yeah, we're right now doing that. We're about a quarter way done with that process. And as I'm doing that, I'm going back later on the book and like, oh, you know what? I have a better idea for this chapter. And I'll redo the whole chapter and I'll delve deeper and I'll make new things. And so, yeah, so that now I might have to break the first book into 2 sections. Because I was looking at it, I'm like, it's already like, I think we got what? We're about 4 or 5 chapters in editing, and it's already 300 pages. So we're like, if by the time this book is done, it might be 1,000 pages. So we might want to look at it and see, okay, let's do, because it has several parts in it that are like really epic. I'm thinking maybe at one point just end it there, write it to where it kind of ends, and then the second part continue it but it would have been one book, but it would have been like 1,500 pages. Or should I break it down to 2 smaller books that'll probably sell a lot better? Because a lot of people don't want to buy a book the size of 1,000, 2,000 page book. They're gonna be like, whoa, that's way too big. I don't have time to read that. So it might be better to break it up.
From what I've observed, at least with current day folk, is that having like a concise book and a concise narrative will decide whether or not people will pick it up, keep it going, or not.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't mean to quite literally sound like a record player, but I'm actually working on a story myself right now.
Oh,
and it is now, as it stands, I'm at a divide point where it's either going to get really, really expansive or it'll stay small. And as it stands, narrative-wise, it's like 2 books at the most, possibly 3. And I'm at that point where I can decide whether or not that 3rd book will happen or not.
Yeah.
Because it's right now really just a matter of, do I take it this way or do I take it this way?
Yes, I already have the ending to my book. I already know how it's going to end. And I know I'm going to have it like 3 part, like the 1, 2, and 3 will have a definite end to the 3rd book, but it'll also continue into 4, 5, and 6. So it'll have like a kind of an end, but it'll have like, I can't really explain it. It's kind of hard to explain. And it's going to take a turn, pretty much. It's going to take a very interesting turn for those people who are, if they get into this book, they're going to love every character. And then there's something I'm going to do after the 3rd book that's going to like just shock people. And I can't wait till I get these books out. And I think it's going to be great. I think people are going to be like, holy crap. And then it's going to go to the other 3, and then it's going to be open. And yeah, so it's going to be very interesting because it's a sci-fi fantasy. So it has a lot of.
It's real hard to do.
Huh?
Sci-fi is from what I've observed over the past couple of years, sci-fi is a tricky thing to work on.
It can be. You have to really. The good thing about fantasy and sci-fi is if you create your own universe, yes, you can create pretty much anything, but you kind of have to base it on something that people understand.
Yeah.
So my book is going to be it's going to have like a lot of Tolkien-based stuff in it. Like it's going to have creatures who are a lot like elves. It has dwarves in it. It has demons. It has angels. But it has rules to the universe that will make sense. So some of it will be very simple. Like in the book, God has, it's not preachy, but it has a lot to do with our planet actually affects the rest of the universe in certain ways. Like this planet is furthest planet from our planet, but it'll like the flood, when the flood happens on Earth in our time period, will actually have a ripple effect to this planet. Like something will happen that will actually affect, my people. And it'll be, because in the book, the basics of my book is the darkness that God, when God created life or created light, he separated darkness, right? But that darkness is the absolute evil. It's not Satan. It's the darkness itself. It is not a sentient creature, but it is a part of God that wants to destroy all life. It wants to be alone in the universe with God. That's its only desire. And it will twist life, and it will twist anything it can to accomplish that goal. And God has to keep it where it's at, but it slowly is, it's reaching out. And that's how, it's the whole purpose why Satan fell and the other angels. And then it is what the demons, it's what turned the angels into demons. And it affects worlds. As demons take over worlds, the darkness will actually consume planets and twist it into like creature, nasty, horrifying creatures. So there will be horror in my book too. So God knows that the physical realm and the spiritual realm are separate. They're not the same thing. And so to protect the physical realm, he has to create a race that has the power to stop it. So he takes the feathers of Michael and Raphael, the angels, and he creates two races on my planet. So it's, how he creates us from dust in the Bible?
Yes.
These people are literally created from the feathers of archangels. So they have their own abilities. They're spiritual. They're very spiritual, attuned to God's, the heaven and God, and they're raised by the archangels. So literally Michael raises this race. So they're technologically advanced. They're raised pure in a way. They've had almost a nonstop golden age. So they've been able to train. They've been trained by the archangels. They've known almost a perfect society. Their world is, they are one with nature and their planet because the archangels taught them how to be.
Mm-hmm.
So they have technology, but their technology is perfectly balanced with nature. And then, so I'm taking a race that has never had war, but has been trained for it. They don't know why they've been trained for it, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going to happen is something big's going to happen where the angels are gone. And now they have to fend for themselves. And then the demons will appear. And then they'll figure out their actual purpose. And then it's going to go into this massive war, and where they have to try to, keep the tide of the darkness at bay. And it's going to go into it'll have the demon princes will have big roles in the books. So you'll have Sloth, Balsaphir. You'll have all these big name demons will be in the books as some demon princes. Satan will have a point in the thing. It's going to be crazy, and I want to put horror in it. I want when the demons appear, it's going to be freaking horrifying. And I want to make it because I was actually thinking of the comics. If you were writing the metal comics, where it's
do you mean DC metal? Do you mean Dark Horse? Do you mean
something like
Hellboy? Do you mean
Hellblade? Just Spawn. Spawn's a very dark, creepy, that kind of books. I think the comics would be fantastic at showing that kind of, the demons and how they affect things and how they, I think that'd be great. It'd be great way that, graphic novels would be perfect for that. But yeah, so, that's the basics of the story. And it's going to follow these characters that we have created. There's 5 characters and a couple races, and it's going to have to, later they're going to actually go out in the universe and they'll meet other races on other planets, some advanced, some not. How they're going to, intertwine with these races. Are they going to go and meet these races? Are they going to, not? how does that like how these they appear to a primitive race? How is that going to affect the primitive race? You got to be you don't want to. You got to be careful, like what kind of technology you will show these people. There's gonna be all kinds of craziness. The cultures for each aliens will be slightly different, because in my book, God doesn't create, like, he creates all life, but the way he did it was when he says, "Let there be life," an explosion happened. Like his life energy just expelled from him throughout the universe, and that life energy is what created all life in the universe.
And a few of theology that actually have considered that the Big Bang is.
Yeah, see, I'm mixing a lot of things together.
Yeah.
So that life energy, and on our planet, there's another very important thing he did. When he created the Kundo and Ignal races, that's what I call them. The Kundo are from Michael, the Ignal are from Raphael. And he decided that this planet needed very richness, so he attached a tree seed to his very life source. It's called the God tree, and he planted it, and it grew. And so this tree is literally so big it touches the upper atmosphere of this planet, and it is literally the source of everything because its roots go throughout the planet. So and it expels God's life force. So you'll have things like life ore, like the ore they pull out will have energy, life energy soaked into it. The soil is rich with life energy. So it has a lot to do with life and it'll have a lot to do with life. A lot of the powers will be called life. And yeah, they're very basic. It's kind of simple, but there's a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of these planets, see, it's only certain planets that God actually handcraft. A lot of the planets he didn't. So a lot of life is just coming up naturally just through his life energy. And so that's the way there'll be whole schools of, there could be lizard people, there could be fish people, there could be, who knows? Imagination is, unlimited with this, the multiverse, the Mirrorsphere. So
in any further.
Yeah.
Something that has been particularly I've wanted to bring up for the case of Inquisition. How far into like the Tolkien Legendarium have you read?
Oh, you mean all the extra stuff?
Yeah.
Not much. Like I never really got through the books myself. So I'm doing it now.
I recommend The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings as books, and
I did. I've got them all on audiobook by narrated by Rob Engel. If you ever heard him do them, it's so good.
Yes. When it comes to the extra stuff, as in like what am I like say like the Silmarillion or the Sons of Hurin, I would firmly advocate the Silmarillion as a way to be like, this is how certain things tie into each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I plan on reading all of it.
Okay.
As I go. Like right now, I'm almost done with the Two Towers audiobook. And then I'll eventually get the Return of the King. But what I'm going to do is after I get done with the audiobook, I'm going to listen to it again. I'm going to watch the movie and I'm going to take notes while I do it. And I'm going to try to take out every, like the difference and why it's different, how I feel why they chose to do it different.
And whether or not you side with that different.
Yeah. Which one do I think is better and which is not? Like one of the main characters I actually am a little disappointed with is Alamir. It's the guy who is supposed to meet them while riding up in the Two Towers when they're in the field running and the horse. Yeah, him. He's not he's kind of in the movie, but he's not. They turned his character completely different, and I wish they didn't, because in the book he's so much better. He's like Aragorn's best friend.
He is infinitely more fleshed out.
Yeah, he becomes like really close with Aragorn, and I was like, oh man, I wish I had that in the movie.
It's great. And deal with the character of Faramir. infinitely different in the book than he is in the movie. Because Faramir is...
Oh, yeah.
He's very studious. He's a better archer than he is a swordsman. He actually has frequently talked and is friends with Gandalf. Like, he understands that there's more to man than what we are now. We were once much greater than...
wiser, too, than even before. Yeah.
And the big reason why I bring it up is because, as the younger brother, I feel like I need to represent. Also, the character of Faramir is just a genuinely good... He is a genuine good guy. And I feel like the adaptation in the movie didn't
do justice.
Which is unfortunate, because they got the right actor. Can't think of anyone else that could pull off Faramir. It's just, adaptation wise, that's really the only part where it's like the big part where I didn't really agree with Lord of the Rings as a movie. Aside from that, like
I love the movies, and then I love the extended versions. And that's all I've known about Lord of the Rings. I just watch the movies. I've constantly watched the movies. And then I was like, you know what? I was just listening to Gary, and he's talking about the books and how great the books are. I was like, you know what? I need to actually delve into the books. So I started delving into the books. And oh my God, I can't believe it took me so long to get into the books, because these books are great.
Yes, they are. I would recommend them to anybody because it's a penultimate way to enjoy fantasy.
They are the ultimate fantasy. This is like
a breath, slow down, and just enjoy the journey. It's not always the destination.
Yeah.
Like, heck, just recently, actually, like within the last couple days, a manga that I watched that's called Demon Slayer. It's only been out.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah,
it's been around for a tiny bit. It's only been around for the past couple of years. It ended at 205 chapters, and is one of the best shonen mangas I've read.
I like the show. I watched the show. Yeah.
And the season, and they just got its first season out, and it's been rocketing when it comes to ratings, and it's a genuinely good story. It knows what it's about, and it's telling its story. It's not trying to be the next Dragon Ball Z, which is where, frankly, Naruto fell so flat.
I like Naruto,
which is
I don't like the new Naruto. Where it's like
no one. Very few people do. Because, like, narratively speaking, it makes no sense for it to be about his son. Because his son, even as a kid, didn't really, like he says multiple times, I don't really want to be a ninja.
Yeah.
I'd rather just be my own person and not be my dad. I mean, heck, look at Gohan, for instance. Like, frankly, I feel like as a narrative point, Gohan has no character. Gohan has been was a MacGuffin throughout the entirety of the Saiyan saga. He was kind of a character for the Frieza saga, barely. And he got to shine in the Cell saga, but really he had no choice but to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to go... Dragon Ball, man, I thought it was going in a completely different direction. I thought they were going to just like Goku kind of retire. It all be about Gohan and who's more stronger. And then there was like, Goku's back and he's way more stronger than everybody else.
Narratively speaking, it would have made sense for the Buu saga to have had Goku up until the end of his one day left, and then have him be stuck in the outer world. With the Kais, then have Gohan have to learn how to defeat Buu, because he would finally have to, earn that mantle through his own prowess and his own agency. And then later on, you could have Goku come back into the fold thanks to Battle of the Gods, aka the best thing to come out of Dragon Ball in 20 years.
Yeah. Well, we better get this done. It's only been almost 3.5 hours.
I also have to finish up my recording of Pokemon Sword. So
yeah, why don't you put your channel in the chat?
How do I do that?
Just type it out. It's fine.
Okay.
Or you can shout it out. That's fine too.
Oh, I have no idea. Well, for those that are listening and watching, I have no idea who's all watching and listening. My name, well, I'm a cousin of your good hosts here, and my channel is Will's Word. If you find it on YouTube, it will be, odds are, it'll just be the one with the fancy W.
All right, man. You take care.
Thank you.
And all of you guys out there, please stay safe, stay healthy. You know, have a good time. Be good to each other. We'll talk to you next time. All right.
Indeed.
Bye.
See ya.